Howdy.
Man, are you ready for this?
I am always ready for this.
Dude,
Wednesday nights.
I tell you, it's been a long week already. It's only been a couple days, but it's going to be a good one tonight, guys. Welcome to episode 158 of the Drag Driver Pete Show, presented by Summit Racing. We've got BC DragIt Challenge. We've got Paul Fournier and Matt Blasco on to talk about it. We've got I don't know how many folks are going to show up from the Great American Detour. But we talked about that event last week and how much fun I had and kind of some of the stories because all these folks that are going to be on went on after I was biatch and turned off and came home. All the folks that are going to come on tonight they were telling the stories, and dude, it's going to be crazy. Plus, we got Street Week Sweden results. That looks like it could be a record-setting event across all of the events, so that'll be kind of cool. And then short circuit updates as well. So, Mr. Eric, will you hit the intro and let's do this thing?
All right, let's go.
All right, Eric, you ready? Let's do this thing.
Yeah, man, let's go. Brian's ready too.
Dude. Instructions unclear, wallet empty. This guy is an animal. Guys, again, welcome to episode 158 of the Drag Driver Pete Show, presented by Summit Racing. My name is Mike Narks. I'm the host of this show and the news that happens most Saturday mornings. We've missed the last couple of weeks because I've been all over the place, bro. It's been kind of crazy. So I'm excited to get back in the rhythm of that. And my right-hand man over here, Mr. Eric White, what you got going on, dude?
I am Eric White, the co-host of the show and the news, and I've been hammering away at 6 summer photos. However, I've slowed down a little bit because we have updates on the Fox body build. So I had a lot of stuff going on, and it's hard to keep everything up in the air at one time. So car stuff, then photo stuff.
Yeah, it's the juggle. I can't wait to for you to update everybody on that. Well, guys, listen, as we open the show here, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being our race car friends. Thank you for doing what you do for us. We appreciate that so much. And we got updates on some of your stuff, on some of that stuff coming later. And then, of course, our sponsors, guys. If you don't know, these guys support us, and they also support the entire Drag and Drive community. So if you're doing some shopping, not just for Drag and Drive stuff, but just for about anything, these guys have it. Summit Racing, of course, the title sponsor here at the show, news, and the circuit. We got Detour, the official fuel delivery of Drag Driver Pete. Update on them coming soon for Eric and his Mustang stuff. Excited about that. Molly Motorsports, of course, best pistons in the game. Driven Racing Oil. I cannot wait to get this driven in the old truck because it's gonna make more horsepower. That's what I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. Gonna make more horsepower. Of course, Howard's Cams, Luke B, and the voodoo magic that is Valve Train. That guy can do it. J-Wire Solutions. I know you guys are scared. You're scared of wiring, and that's okay. Jay can either help or he can wire and plumb your hot rod. Dude, just call him up, Jay Blanchard, J-Wire Solutions. Hit him up. Avco Racing Products, of course, not just suspension pieces. That's what they're known for, but also, dude, cooling. They got brakes, all kind of cool stuff, and of course, Performer built transmissions. Best GM transmission builder in the game. They put a 4L60 in the sevens, and they have a 4L60 living behind Howie Price's twin turbo big behemoth Sheila's dream wagon. It's so big, like my hands are touching the ends of it, but you can't see it because that's how big it is. Crazy. Car Change 3D, of course, Corey Nicholson and the team up there just knocking stuff out. And I've been drawing some stuff up on my little notepad for stuff that I've learned from the Great American Detour that I need for the old truck from him. So, of course, Low Dollar Motorsports, any kind of data sensor, any kind of thing like that that you need to make your car go fast or perform better. Low Dollar Motorsports, of course, for all of those sensors and Power Tube TV and Racing Junk Classifieds. We can't do it without all them. But I tell you what, Summit Racing, one of the biggest players in the game in all of this here. Let's let Brian Loans tell us about what they got going on.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Man, I wish one day I had a voice like Brian Loans.
Right?
He just tells great stuff. Dude, so Summit sent out this deal yesterday. Open road, $25 off 250. I love this deal because the stuff we have, the deals we have, the discount codes and things like that we have is for 50 off 500, which is what open road would get you as well. But we also have 100 off 1,000 or more. But dude, there's been so many people that are like, man, I'm not spending 500, so I'll wait and I'll gather up some more parts and pieces and then I'll get to that 500. This 25 off 250 is a hell of a deal.
Yes.
It's 10% off, obviously, if you're spending $250. But this only runs until the 12th. So if you guys have some parts you need to order, use promo code Open Road, all caps, all one word, whenever you put in your order there. That doesn't help us at all. I mean, that's what Summit does. But we do have an affiliate link if you guys want to. It's on our website. It's on top of our Facebook page, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've ordered some stuff recently.
I got all the bearings. Yep.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. That is going to be awesome. All right. What's up next? Oh yeah, of course. Get your merch while you're in there. And if you need that extra like $19 to put your number over, dude, just get you one of these Drag Driver Pete Summit branded shirts.
Yep. Shirts, hoodies, hats, big brims.
Mm-hmm. Baseball caps like you had just a minute ago.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You don't have that on anymore.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Let's look at some Drag Driver Pete updates because you've got some fun stuff going on. So you take over. I'll watch the comments and tell us about what's going on in your life.
All right. So this weekend, like you'd mentioned, I got some bearings from Summit. So we got some Molly main bearings and rod bearings, put new cam bearings in, use this amazing driven engine oil assembly lube to put in the Howard's cam. So as of right now, the cam is installed, the crank is installed, the main bearings are in, and I learned something. I don't ever try to say I know everything because I don't. So I grabbed my Gen 4 rods after we got everything put together, grabbed my Molly Power Pack pistons, and found out that Gen 4 rods use a pin diameter of 943 thou. Most aftermarket pistons, including the Molly Power Pack pistons, use a diameter of 945. Therefore, they don't fit together. So did a little researching. Pretty common to have your connecting rods honed up in size. So went to the local machine shop and talked to them. And he's like, yep, I just need a pin and your connecting rods. And I said, perfect. They're in my truck. I'm going to bring them in. And
I just so happen to have those.
Right. And he called me today and said they were done. So I went and picked those up today. So just got back the connecting rods. He cleaned them and honed them up for me. So they're ready to be installed. The Molly piston rings have all been filed, which is a pain. Sorry, that's an experience. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Filing pistons is an experience. Piston rings is an experience. So got all those done. They're all installed on the piston. So literally all I got to do is go put the connecting rods onto the pistons and those will go in. So
nice.
Hoping to have a rotating assembly this weekend. And also I got a package from Deechworks that showed up today, which is also amazing. So we've got the injectors, pump, regulator, and filters for the fuel system. So super excited about that.
Yeah, I was on the phone with Mark Campbell yesterday talking about PRI and stuff like that, and he said that the system that you've got in there would support 2,000 horsepower. I said, hold on now, don't get all don't get all ready. I was like, but big block Chevrolets do fit in Fox body Mustangs pretty easy.
You know,
I know.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm super excited. I obviously opened up the packages today. Everything looks amazing. Like
yeah.
the packaging, like the quality of the products. I was and I don't know why I was a little surprised because I seen all these at PRI and at the circuit, but that 810 pump is not very big whatsoever.
Yeah, it's all motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. And Mark and I were talking about having him on in a couple weeks to kind of go over this whole package and kind of why it was chosen to do what you're looking to do. Like I think like from what I understand, he's actually there's 2 810s in there, brush set up, so like you'll be able to alternate between pumps and if you ever needed to and all that kind of stuff. But I think one of those will probably take us to 10.0.
He did say that one of them would be enough. But you can run 2 for multiple different reasons. You can have one as a spare in your system, or like I can run one of them at 50%, and when it hits boost, one of them can jump to 100, or could run one at 50% boost or 50%, and then when I get into boost, I can kick the other one on at 50%. So there's a lot that you can do with these brushless pumps. So pretty excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. And just learning all of that instead of like piecing a package together from, basically, oh, hey, it's like the old truck. Like, okay, well, we've got this and it's factory, all stock 4.8. Now it's got a turbo. So now you need to go in and upgrade all of these other parts and pieces and buying stuff twice. It's like right to the top with this. So it'd be kind of cool.
Yep. And I did a bunch of research. These are 1,500cc injectors. They do offer a 2,200, but my engine isn't anywhere ready to need that size injector yet.
Yeah.
You can use them, but everything I read said you better be a dang good tuner because a lot of street driving at that high of an injector is difficult to tune. So ended up going with Mark's recommendation and keeping at the 1,500.
Yeah, dude. And if anybody knows, it's that guy. I mean, that guy has done what we're trying to do with this thing. He's done it multiple times.
Absolutely. And that's again, we say it all the time, but that's one of the best things about our sponsors is we can just go to them and say, here's what I want to do. Here's our goals. And they give us that feedback on what we need, which is exactly how we got to this setup.
Yeah. And we can do that for you guys too. Like we can put you guys in contact with those that are doing all of that. All right. Well, I hate to, that's great. That's great news. That's wonderful stuff. But now I've got to break some sad news. Today, really last night, about 2 a.m., I made the decision I'm not going to Big Sky. I am completely heartbroken, but y'all, I got so much shit to do and put together and stuff like that because we have registration for, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Short circuit, we've got all kinds of stuff that's coming. So it's going to be too tough to be gone 9 days. Okay. So I'm not going to Big Sky. I called Austin this morning. I said, man, I was just apologizing profusely. And, but we do have some friends that are going to help us with some content. So big shout out to Jesse Fox. 3G Video is going to help us. He's going to send us some stuff. Chris Wozniak is going to help us in trade. He said, hey, dude, you just got done with the Great American Detour. He's like, get the Track Buddy app and go put your stuff in so you can start kind of tracking that and do all that stuff. So I'm going to download that tonight after we get off the show and do that. Jim Hopping and Aaron Fleetwood are going to kind of gather some stuff. And Cassie and Kevin Lowry are also going to send over some stuff for us as well. So I appreciate all of our race car friends helping us out. I'm really sad I'm not going to Big Sky, but I think next year I'm just going to rent a camper and take the whole family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Mike Murata saying Buckeye Skips was the best. That's another one that's on my list too for next year, I think. But next event for me is going to be Heads Up Hustle as an announcer. I will be doing that I'll be leaving the 23rd, actually flying out. Actually, no, I fly out the 24th that morning. So if anybody's coming through Cleveland, hit me up. It's about 45 minutes north of the track. So I land about 11 a.m. So if anybody's going to be there, holler at your boy, or I'm gonna have to get an Uber to go down there and run around. But I'm excited about this one. That was the other big reason that I felt like I needed to stay home, is I need to prepare for this, and there's no way that I could get done what I need to get done and get ready for this race in the 3 days between Big Sky Race Week and Heads Up Hustle. So trying to do my best for the community, and man, that was a real tough decision, I promise. All right, sir. Tell us about some driven stuff.
All right, let's hit this ad read and we'll jump in.
Hey, it's Brandon from Fort Smith, Arkansas here. Driven Racing Oil is a performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application. Whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or pushing the limits in top-fueled drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting-edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cleaning and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil and enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance.
And you guys know the deal. DDR10 is your discount code. 10% off drivenracingoil.com. Anything on their website. You can get some engine assembly oil lube like I just used. You can get oil for your season. You can get degreaser. You can get speed wax. Plenty of things that you can get. So code DDR10 for that discount.
Come on. Hey, Dave. Great to see you.
Mike says, I'll take you in the Volvo.
Bring it on. Dustin ask Dave, do your toilets actually spin the other way? I think so.
All right. Well, let's see here. What do we have first up?
Well,
before this,
I didn't put a photo in here because this is important and I need to look people in the eyes.
All right.
Short circuit registration opens next week. I know I haven't done a good job of this, but listen to me. July 17th, 8 a.m. Racers that have participated in any circuit event are getting an early entry. I'm going to get you guys a code on Thursday of this next week. Not this week, not 2 days from now, but the next week, the 17th. So on the 16th, you're going to get a code that will get you in early. This will be paramount for getting a spot. I'm telling you right now, this will sell out. I don't know if it will go to the public, to be honest with you. We're going to create a wait list because we are obviously 4 months from the event. People will sign up that are not going to make it. So if you want to get in and you've never competed with us, this is your opportunity. Get on the wait list and get ready. This is going to be an event where I truly don't know if we would be able to take anybody that shows up day of. So we're going to have to see how all of that goes. It's going to be crazy. George Ray's Wildcat Drag Strip in Paragould, Arkansas is going to be nuts.
Said that man sounds like he's about to short circuit himself by next week.
Yeah, it's man, one of the reasons that I stayed home, just because we got so much going on. So yeah. All right, dude, tell us about other events that are coming up though.
All right. So looking at the July schedule, we got Street Week Sweden going on right now. That ends in 3 more days. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in next segment. All Stars Drag and Drive starts today. So that one is kicking off. That one's exciting. Big Sky Race Week, which we just talked about, July 11th through 17th, again, starts in 3 days. Road Trip Drag Challenge number 2, the 17th through the 19th. That is 9 days away. Pistons in the Pines. That is the 23rd through 25th. 15 days away. Heads Up Hustle, the 24th through the 26th. 16 days away. Drop the Hammer Judgment Day. Again, the single day event that Drop the Hammer is putting on July 25th. 17 days away. And rounding out the end of July is Miles of Mayhem. The 26th through the 31st is 18 days away.
Dude, it's crazy that we're already in the middle of July. Like we are in the midst of it. It's crazy. I can't wait to talk about Street Week Sweden. It looks like it's going to stack up very highly in the events.
Yeah. But by chance, did you see the trophies for the All-Star Dragon Drive?
I did not.
Check these things out.
What? Wait, what? Dude, are those turbo cold sides?
Those are turbos, and the little plaque on there has the position. So first place, runner up.
Bro, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So big shout out to HPT Turbos for that. That might be one of the coolest trophies I've ever seen.
I can't wait to see some of those things on a mantle.
Right? You figure you put like a wood plaque and attach that thing to it and hang that up on your wall. That's going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looks like there's a little stand on the side there to keep it standing straight up. Wow, dude, that's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool when I saw those.
Yeah. Wow.
So shout out to those guys. And then August. We're already talking about August events here. We have Route 66 Roundup. You have a note here that tell me about this here.
Yet again, another reason I'm needing to skip Big Sky. So we are rescheduling. So August 2nd will not be that date. The team that runs Motorama had to cancel the track rental for that day. So that does not give us the opportunity to do it. But going to be some really cool shit coming from it. And I think we're going to end up with maybe an even better event than we were planning. It's something to do around one of the Tulsa Midnight Drags. So we're going to either start at the Midnight Drags and finish at an event on Sunday, or we're going to start on Saturday and finish at the midnights after midnight on a Saturday night. So this should be pretty wild. So I'm kind of excited about it.
Yep. All right. Well, then that leaves us with our first event for August, Hot Rod by Havlic's Fastest Streetcar Shootout, one of the coolest events of the year. Definitely have to check that out if you are local to that area. August 7th through 9th, August 6th through 8th. That is 30 days away.
And dude,
Crazy.
Some of the baddest cars, and they're doing a ride along. Like you can ride along in some of those cars.
Yep. So pretty excited about that. Then we have Olympic Streetcar Shootout, which is the 7th through 9th and 31 days. We have Sick Michigan Miles, again, the Michigan-based event, which is the 16th through 22nd in 39 days. Dragway Rush, the 19th through 22nd. That is 42 days away. And then we have Cruise and Lose rounding out the month, the 21st through 23rd. That is in 44 days. Crazy to think, talking about the end of August being 44 days away.
It doesn't seem real. Somebody messaged me the other day too, and they were like, "Hey, I'm looking for an event. I just bought this new car." Well, it was Robert Young of Velocity Motorsports, a sponsor of our single day events. And he's like, "Man, I just bought this S2000s Turbo LS. It's built for drag and drive, right?"
I like it already.
Oh yeah. It looks bad to the bone. He said, where can I go? Where can I go race? And I got to looking, and he lives in Tulsa. His shop is in Tulsa and all that stuff. And I got to looking, dude, using the interactive map was kind of cool. But there's like, when you start looking, like you got to do a little bit of travel. So man, everybody talks about, the events being saturated, the scene being saturated. Y'all, it ain't even close. It ain't even close. Like you can't, so I hope that he gets a chance to test that car and then comes with me to Heads Up Hustle in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kanan here saying, speaking of Michigan Miles, I got a call today asking me to be a co-pilot, so I will be there.
Nice. Well, Kanan, we need a favor. I need you to go by and hang out with Martin Kilroy. I need more of that dude in my life, so we need some video and photos and stuff of all of his hot rod there.
Yeah.
Did you see the note I just added?
I did, and I have not had a chance to look into it too much, so I know a little bit about it, but go ahead and talk about this one.
So Hot Rod Magazine is on a tear. They are excited about doing events again, and they have put together a True Street class there's an event that starts the Friday that Drag Week ends, and this True Street class in traditional True Street form, 30-mile cruise, come back 3 laps, can't pop your hood, can't put fuel in, all that kind of stuff. So Mike Galemi was posting about this the other day. This is going to be a big thing. And just as Dustin Carlington posted up earlier, this is he's going to make the rundown. So I think there's going to be a ton of drag and drive racers leave Drag Week Friday night after the awards, drive straight to Indy, and do one more day of drag and drive racing.
I love it.
Yeah, so if I'm really hoping I can make that work. That's kind of my plan. I intend to drive the old truck to Drag Week, and so kind of cruise through Indy and then home.
Yeah.
Summer Nats is what it is. Yeah. Guess who? Dustin Carlington signed up. That's why his wallet's broken.
For sure. Right. Well, that again puts us
events, bro.
Yeah, 50 events for the year. Again, like you mentioned, you can find those at dragdriverpete.com/events. And that'll take you to that interactive map that Mike was just talking about. So you can see what events are still happening the rest of the year and where they start out at.
Dustin says number 8 for the year.
Oof.
That's crazy.
God dang.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that, dude. That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, well, let's cover some J-Wire stuff, which is going to be Street Week Sweden updates. And then the people for Great American Detour are piling up backstage. I can't wait.
All right. Want me to hit this ad?
Do it.
What's up, guys? My name is Cole from Fort Worth, Texas. Expert car and marine wiring solutions that you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, hell, even your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience way better, like their blinker module that is just a must for all drag and drive cars. This module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like stock. Find all the details at jwiresolutions.com.
Oh, yeah. J-Wire, one of my favorite spots. Like I said earlier, if you're scared of wiring, he's your dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Big shout out to Cole, who's been hosting some in the shop time. Obviously, I haven't done any of that because I haven't been out here. I hadn't even wanted to look at the old truck since I got back. But Cole, once a week, has been hosting, a few hours here in his shop, live here on our channel. So appreciate him doing that. And then, of course, kind of along with our race weight program, just kind of keeping people accountable, giving you a reason to get out there. So if you guys want to join in on that, hit us up. We'll get you in contact with Cole and we'll go live from there. All right, sir. Let's talk about some of this stuff, man.
I don't think J-Wire is in Fort Worth.
No, he is in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids?
Somewhere in Michigan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the first thing that we're going to cover is Buckeye Skips. So that event has wrapped up, and I like this here. 2026 results: 140 made it, 110 survived the heat. So I don't know if you saw all the posts, but yeah, definitely was warm there.
Dude, this heat this year has been brutal on us drag and drive guys. And what's crazy is the cars are doing great. It's the people that are getting our asses kicked.
Right, for sure. All right, so we got all the results here. So if we want to alternate like we typically do, first one here, fastest street car, fastest average.
What?
No survivors for winner, no survivors for runner up.
Oh, dude, that's heartbreaking.
Right?
Wow.
So we'll have to reach out and get stories behind some of these, because I'd be curious to see what happened to these ones.
Yeah, Dustin saying Buckeye Blaze 2026, that's for sure. 850 index, Greg Hull taking the win in that with an 883. He won by 0.0159 over Brian Dorsey, who had an 8.998.
Yep. And then we have the 990 index. I think this is kind of cool, a little bit different numbers here than what we normally see, but winner of this class was Mike Blewett. With a 9.936 average over Clint Zenther with a 9.968 average. So pretty close there, 9.936 and a 9.968.
Dude, look at how many, what is that 3 100,000ths over third place?
1, 2, 3, 4 zeros after the decimal place and a 3.
I don't know, 10,000s, something like that. That's crazy. Up next, 1090 index, Jack. God dang, he's got too many vowels in there, man. Consonants
Yeah.
in there.
Serbia.
Yep, sure. He won the 1090 index with a 1092. Good job on that. And then Tom Wild, second place with a 1096.
Yeah. Then we've got the 1150 index winner, Aaron Darnell, with an average of 11,562 over Jake Elam with an 11,607.
Dude, Aaron Darnell's on a run here, and he's going to Heads Up Hustle as well. So that'll be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Dial Your Own. Tyler Adams taking that one with an .007 spread, beating out John Pace Jr. with a 0.015 spread. 008 the win on that one.
Yep. And then we've got the hard tire NASCAR class. I don't know if you recognize this name or not. Mr. David Lips, aka Dustin Carlington, here in the chat. Man, another person that's been on a tear this year, won that class with a .010 average, won by .002 over Isabella Huffman, who had a 0.012 average.
Golly, that's tight.
Yeah.
That is tight. Wow. That's awesome. Gasser class, Garrett Hall taking that win with an 1191 average over Brian Burns with a 1422. Man, I want to see what Brian runs, but man, 1422. That ain't fast enough.
This was the Gasser fastest average. Then we have the Gasser closest average was Justin Oakes with a spread of .450 over Brian Burns with a spread of .522.
I like the double opportunity there in the class. Stick shift with fastest average, John Kenter with an average of 10:01, beating Derek Elmore Sr. with an average of 11:032.
Yep. And then stick shift closest average, William Wise with a spread of 0.046 over Bryce Evans with a spread of 0.087.
Yeah, that's pretty salty when you start figuring in stick shift stuff.
Yeah.
Truck class, Ricky Russell out there just taking names everywhere. Average of an 8.904, taking out David Pritchard with a 9.72 average. That's for the fastest average in that class. Oh, shoot, sorry.
And then the truck closest average was Chad Pokapots with a 0.013 over Dalton Sisson with a 0.028.
Nice. Junior Street, young racer here, Hunter Butcher winning that with an average of 387. Looks like he was the only runner in that class.
Yep. So those were your results for
Buckeye Skips.
For Buckeye Skips. And then now we've got some updates here on Street Week Sweden.
Yeah, kind of a midweek update.
Yep, because like we said in the beginning of the show, we have 3 days remaining of this event. These are the results as of last night when I checked, so July 7th.
Oh, sweet.
So leading the Max Outlaw class, a name that we all should be familiar with, Michael Westberg, 4.348 average.
Did you see his pass that I think her name's Mona posted up the other day? It was like a 410, and that dude, if it was 660 feet, he drove 1,000.
Yeah, he was
both sides.
Yeah, side to side in that. I saw that one.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So second place, currently Jonas Salin with a 4.505 average.
Nice. Moving to Street Outlaw, which will be, obviously these are going to change probably by the end of the week, but Henrik Anderson, 479 average for him so far. And then Jimmy Carlson taking second with a 485 average so far. And I think they're 3 days in by last night.
That sounds about right. Then we've got Ultimate Street, Sammy Tovinen with a 5.133 average over Hanu Hellman with a 5.389 average.
Nice. Moving to True Street, Juhani Showman, we're going to say 585 average, and then Matthias Jansen in second, 598. So not far off there.
Yep. Pro Touring, Peter Lundgren with a 5.714 over Nicholas Wickender with a 5.829.
Nice. And we need some of this over here in the States, but how about some import war rear wheel drive? This is Per Christian Haroldstead, 554 average on that one. And then Daniel Johansson, 558. And then Kazi's with a P, Povilone, I don't know, something like that, 562. So that's a tight class. That's one to watch.
Yep. And then Import War front wheel drive, Frederick Beck with a 7.73 over Morten Mortensen with an 857.3.
Dang, bring it on. Four wheel drive class, Christian Doggis, 540. Dude, there's a lot of fast cars over there, 540. And then Magnus Fritz in second with a 598.
Yep. Then we've got diesel power. We got Frederick Skroloff with a 6.317 average over Stig Holm with a 6.541 average.
Dude, that's awesome. And then classic, which is filled with 1950s Chevrolet cars, basically. This one here's got Per Justison, 589 average for them. And then Kenneth Weston with a 634.
And then the last class here, we've got Hot Rod. We've got Martin Lundquist with a 6.576 average. Second place is Sylvest Bergley with a 6.585 average. And third place, Gel Trigue with a 6.586 average. So this hot rod class is probably anybody's game right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you can watch this on Bank Shift, dude. It's really cool to have Chad Reynolds over there doing the live stream stuff and getting some of his feedback on all these cars. And they've done a really good job this year of posting. So if you guys aren't following Street Week Sweden, I would beg of you to go do that.
It's Allison Tooley in here.
Mm-hmm. What up, lady? Got to hang out with them. They were huge, influential reasons that Don Harmon got to continue on. All right, sir. Lead us out of J-Wire and into some thanks, man.
All right. Well, again, appreciate J-Wire for being a part of what we do here. Again, if you need something to keep your engine cool, he's got pretty cool design for you that aren't running the little loop in your LS water pumps like I am. So definitely head over and check that out. And I'm going to get one of those for the 240, like I mentioned before, and might even look at one of those Holley high ram tool trays as well. So tons of great stuff coming out of J-Wire Solution.
And speaking of J-Wire and that part, there was somebody talking in one of the groups, I think it was Sloppy Mechanics, talking about that part. And dude, they were saying like idle temps in stop and go traffic 20 degrees lower with that piece. Yeah. Man, blew my mind.
I was reading through a bunch of those comments this morning.
Yeah. Super cool.
All right. Well, once again, appreciate all of our race car friends here tonight tuning in. We're, halfway through the show. We've got some amazing guests coming up, so stay tuned. Appreciate all of you guys. And again, can't do this without all of our sponsors: Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, PowerTube TV, and Racing Junk. All right, that brings us up to the Molly Motorsports segment where we're going to bring in the Great American Detour. But first, we've got one ad read that we'll play and we'll jump into it.
Looking for a forged piston kit for your vehicle? You need Molly Motorsport Power Pack. What is Power Pack? It's the ultimate forged piston kit that comes complete with pistons, performance file fit rings, hot string steel pins, and clips, all engineered to work together, so all you have to do is build something great. Find your Power Pack at mollymotorsport.com.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Hang on just a second. I'm sharing the show out real quick because this is going to be a fun one. Again, I don't know how many folks are coming in from the Great American Detour, but before Robert Voss, because I see him down there, this dude put on a heck of a show. like I said last week, it was a spiritual experience as we went into Red Ball Garage and just getting all of this done and getting there. Man, it was crazy to me. And I know it would embarrass him if I said that once he got on, but I want to bring in the folks that are here. I want to start with the guy that handed me my ass at Wabash Valley, Mr. Jim Forbes, kind of a big deal in the drag and drive world. And now his lore even grows more. Jim, dude, I love the Corvette. It was badass. Let me see did I put a picture of it in here where we can get to it easily? Maybe. Oh yeah. Guys, Jim drove this from Arizona to New York City to Modesto, California, back to Arizona. So, Jim, can you hear us? Oh, we can't hear you. Oh no. We don't have a microphone. See if we can get him figured out here.
Works any better.
Oh, whoa, that's weird. You take your earphones off and it works.
Yep, that's not surprising. It's expecting to have a microphone on my headset. I don't have a real headset. I have some crap that came with some audio device 15 years ago.
Hey, that's all right. Jim, man, I tell you, it was really cool to hang out with you. You've done a whole bunch of neat stuff. And to do it in the Corvette, you were joking with me when you kicked my ass at drag racing that you did it all with 1960s technology. So give us a quick rundown of what the setup in the car is.
Okay, this is a 62 Corvette. I got it 3 years ago. It was in pieces. I got to put it together. It's basically a stock low performance 250 horse Corvette 327. Just has the small heads and small carburetor and the point distributor and all that stuff. It had a Muncie in it when I first got it going. I just put a TKX in it, so I have overdrive now, which turns out to be really nice on an 8,500 mile drive across the country and back. Has 308 gears. I put a posi in it. Put Willwood 4-wheel disc brakes on it, and other than that, it's pretty much stock.
Man, it was so cool. And I think Josh Fox jumped in with you when we went into Manhattan. It's not town, that's a big city. And that dude, you couldn't wipe the smile off of that guy's face. He said it was one of the coolest experiences he's ever had.
I'm glad he got to go with me. It was a fun drive in the city in this thing. Fortunately, it was like midnight, 1 a.m, so there wasn't much traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. And to see everybody's face as we're driving, I was in behind you. And so, Pete, you were breaking necks, man. You guys were breaking necks. It was really cool to see all that go down.
Yeah, one thing, when you drive across the country in a 65-year-old car, you're the only guy out there. There ain't no one else driving something like this across the country.
No, that's for sure. And how many days did the top stay down in relation to this top being up?
Well, I had it down every day. I put it up when it was like getting pretty rainy, and also when I'd had enough sun for the day. So on the way up, I wound up taking the northern route, and I went up through Maine and all that on my way down to New Jersey. And it was kind of chilly actually most of the drive there, so I had the top down almost all the time. And then when I got there, then it started raining, so I had the top up, and then it got hot, so I had the top down, and then had to put it up later in the day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got a lot of sunshine.
Yeah, we definitely had a swing of temps, man. It was nice being a little damp for a few days ahead as we kind of got to New Jersey, but then after we got done at Beaver Springs, it was not damp anymore. It was
very hot warm the rest of the way.
Yeah. But bring it on. That's what it's supposed to be. Well, let's bring in the oversized pirate next, Mr. Daniel Baisley. Dude, hell of a route. I loved it. I only got to cruise one way of the route because I was a whiny little girl and wanted to cover ground. But big shout out to you for doing what you did, man. The route was super cool.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Are you home yet?
No, I got less than 400 miles.
Are you home yet? 400 miles. Listen, you sons of bitches. The next person tells me 400 miles. Getting fun.
I got 65. I got an hour left.
That's awesome. Well, if y'all don't know, Daniel, tell us what you drive and how you got the name Oversized Pirate.
We have a twin turbo F-150 standard cab short bed, and we are apparently oversized in the state of New York and should not have been allowed in the Red Ball garage. But if you have a Suburban or Stanley, those are not oversized vehicles, but a regular cab short bed truck is oversized.
Yes, certainly. I mean, your regular cab short bed F-150 is definitely way larger than my regular cab short bed 1966 truck.
Yeah.
Now, you're coming from a completely different coast, and I think that's what was really cool about the Great American Detour. How many miles will you have coming into this thing or getting home to this thing?
Well, in my rental Ram, I picked it up with 16 miles on it, and it currently has 4,178 miles.
Oh my gosh!
So,
and you picked it up in Arizona?
Yeah, in Albuquerque. So we got good 4,000 miles just on the way back. So
Man,
it would have been like 7,500 round trip.
Wow.
So
That's so cool. And Jim, how many miles did you say you put on?
8538 when I added it all up,
God,
but I took a few extra detours.
Yeah, you did.
And American Detour.
You did. And Allison Tooley here saying much bigger than a Tahoe. Just to be clear, the regular cab short bed F-150 much bigger than a Tahoe.
Much bigger.
Yeah, and of course our fearless leader, the guy that spent countless hours stressing over everything, Mr. Camp Counselor Bob Robert Voss. Bro, I don't know how I'll ever be able to thank you for putting this together. It was incredible.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody who came, right? I could not have done this without Daniel, the Oversized Pirate. He was in my inbox for days. Hey, what are we going to do? What is the route? Who do I need to contact? Me and him both are road pirates when it comes to work. So we're always on the road. And, while he's on an airplane, he's contacting tracks, trying to see what we can do. And, this event wouldn't have been possible without his help. And, I didn't ask for it. He just volunteered it. And so, first off, thanks to him. And then Mike, you were instrumental in this as well, right? Really glad that you helped out with everything you did. Glad you made the trip halfway through it. And, it's just, it's really, just kind of heartwarming, I guess, that people believed in this. Like they were like, hey, you know what? We're going to give it a shot when nobody knows who I am. It was only 13 people, but it was 13 people from coast to coast. And it was, just a really, like you said, spiritual experience, right? You get to see so much that it kind of makes you realize that anything that you have going on in your life is just insignificant.
Yeah, it was really cool. And as I was walking this morning and was just thinking back about all the states we covered, all the cool scenery. So I'm going to have Brian, he would put together like a daily video, right? And it was kind of everything. But I think all I want for a video from this is there's no tracks, there's no real talking or anything. It's just the drive part of every piece of video that I took that was just driving it down the interstate, the back road, whatever. I just want all of that. You know what I mean? Because, dude, that was where, to me, this trip made the most memories. Was just, I got some really cool shots of both your car cruising, Daniel's truck cruising along some of the hills, and with the great views in the background and all the cool stuff we saw. So that's what I want as a memory, is just a video of all of just the driving.
Yeah. And the thing is you only got half of it.
I know.
We had a lot of after my house, right? So we all met at my house essentially, which is about the halfway point. And we finished working on Don's car. and, got all that lined out. But then after that, I know a lot of us have driven through, the panhandle of Texas and have gone out to Albuquerque, but it's driving through Arizona and then going into California that you wouldn't expect how gorgeous the state is. When you cross over into California and you work 8 hours around the state, down over to the ocean, you see that it's basically its own continent. It has everything that you can think of. And it was, just something really cool to see because I've never been out there. But Pennsylvania is a gorgeous state, and I'd be okay if I never drove through Illinois again, but that's all right.
You mean?
Definitely.
Indiana wasn't great either. I can't believe you're going to go back through there with your truck with how much complaining you did on the way up.
Yeah. But I will dodge that son of a gun all I can. 2-lane road. I'm going to take 66 out of Chicago and down and over or something. I don't know. I'm not driving 70 anymore.
Yeah. It makes me pumped for 666 and traveling up so I can see the rest of the Route 66. But let's talk about Mr. Jim here for a second. This guy is a gangster. All right.
Gangster.
8,500 miles. He did win. I split up the Detourist Award, and he did win the Detourist because not only did he go up to Maine, but after we left Albuquerque, he decided he was going to go to Vegas. So he went over to Vegas and stayed the night and then continued the route down. So he, there's nobody put the amount of miles on that he did throughout the week. And also Dylan Benjamin's in the chat saying he wished he would have finished the Detour. He didn't even start it.
He made it.
He made it to my house and then loaded up and left.
He said, "This transmission ain't going to do it, man. I'm out."
But it was great. I mean, we had a lot of memories. You know what I mean? Almost losing the car on the trailer up there. Shoot, we were. I had Steven in the car with me, and we're driving down the road, and it's about 11 o'clock through Arizona, and my headlights shut off. And we're doing 70 on the interstate there, and I get over onto the shoulder, and because it's pitch black, I smack one of them road gators, otherwise known as a carcass of a tire. And so the service truck pulled up next to me, and we drove for a solid 5 miles till we found a turnout with the lights flashing over there, or lights guiding us through. I had a ton of just minor inconveniences the whole route.
Well, and here's what's wild too, right? Like, think about how far your car drove with 20 miles on it. Okay, originally, how many miles did you put on that car before you had to put it on the trailer in California?
2,900.
Dude, that's 3 drag and drives. That's 3 national level drag and drives that you did in a week.
Yeah. And honestly, the reason the transmission went out, which, mind you, now that I think back on it, it was probably hurt when we left, because every time you would shift it into direct, so third gear, it would kind of shake a little bit. And, that's kind of a warning sign that your center support bushing's going out. But I just figured it was like a drive shaft deal. Well, I was going to drive through the night from Arizona to the Portofino so I could beat LA traffic, but the guys were getting real tired. So that's when we took that nap at that truck stop outside of Alex and Holly's, and we, they slept on the trailer and stuff. But, going through the LA traffic is, having to shift it, because it's manual, or it's remote,
Reverse
manual valve body. So like shifting it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and on the hills and stuff kind of did the transmission in, and we got 100 yards from the finish line and this thing would not move anymore. And Steven is like, we are going to push this thing up there. And so I just let it sit, and I was feeling defeated. And, I was like, I think it'll move in second. So we started up, and I just dropped it into second, cruised up there, got our picture. And then, as we're cruising to the Portofino's parking lot there, we ended up jacking it up, and it sounds like there's a drum brake inside of it just dragging the case.
Oh, man.
So I've got the transmission jack under it right now. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., rip the tranny out, hopefully have it tore down by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then when I get off work, I'll see if I can get it rebuilt. But
dude, that's so cool, man. It's so cool. And one of the coolest opportunities, I want to give a shout out to the Thorpes who, bro, they're crazy. How many miles did they put on their stuff? They started in Colorado, drove this thing 4 adults deep, all the way up, and then left us at Wabash Valley in Terre Haute, Indiana, and drove to the starting point in Chicago, and then followed, most of 66 the entire way.
Well, and these guys here, the Thorpes, it wasn't even their original idea. So this is the Disorganized Grime crew for anybody that doesn't know. And they were one of the main sponsors for this event, right? We had Summit, we had BTR, and we had Disorganized Grime were our 3 main sponsors. And John Murr in there, he also won the Detourist Award because he had a stroke a couple of years back. And, he kind of embodies what Drag and Drive is. He's always wanted to, or he's always, supported the cause, but ever since then, they just really haven't been able to get him back into it. He hasn't driven the car or anything. And they got him off the couch and got him to go, on a 7,000-mile road trip. And, when he was sitting there and I announced, hey, we're going to give this Detour sign that Miss Tooley procured. His face lighted up. He was elated with joy. And, that's what it's all about. Those guys sponsored the event. They paid for one of the track rentals. And it was, really great having them there. But Cheryl, John Murr, and the Thorpes, they are, second to none. Amazing people.
And they brought white shirts, bro. I would never buy a white shirt until I had that one on, and I'm like, this is glorious. This is amazing to not wear black shirts. I mean, everybody on this page except for Jim, because he's smart, is wearing a black shirt. And
I live in Arizona. It's too hot to wear black shirts here.
Yeah. So I've even told Eric, I'm like, we're doing white shirts, man. I know people probably won't buy them much until they wear it, and then they're like, I want all white for events. Just all white.
Those shirts were game changers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that heat in Ohio, huh? No wonder why the people at Buckeye Skips didn't finish, because we almost didn't.
Dude, it was brutal.
Yeah, it was hot.
It was, man. Yeah, it got with it that day, and having a black roof, it made me want to paint the top of the truck white.
Yeah,
maybe that day.
I know we only have a couple minutes here, but the other people that I'd really like to thank is, BTR did sponsor the event, but Michael and Allison, they were instrumental in the success of a lot of these racers, right? Typically, when you look at a drag and drive, you look at, can you make it, and are you the fastest? We had 4 drag strips. We are technically a national level event, but it was much bigger than that for us, right? It was, how are we going to get everybody across the country? It was, much like the settlers, we didn't want anybody to die from dysentery. But we, everybody kind of pitched in, but those two, when it came to parts runs, it didn't matter how far it was. It didn't matter. They were on it to make sure that everybody, finished. And then I'm pretty sure I seen Daniel Dynarski in here, and that guy there, he was the first one to finish the event. He was the first one out there. That guy there, I crossed off the 5-second class because we didn't have anybody in the 5s, and we wrote Cannonballer on that thing, and we gave that award to him because he ripped out there, and he was the first one to finish everything.
Yeah, that dude is awesome, and got a hell of an interview with the alien UFO driver. I mean, just really, he embodied it for me. That dude had a great time.
Yeah,
super cool car.
I've got 2 more events planned, and I hope he's at both of them. So,
oh yeah. That Chad Withermere says, I own about 50 T-shirts. I guess less than 15 are not black. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with all of us. We're idiots, man. White is the way to go. Well, Jim, run us through what's 1 or 2 of your top memories?
Actually, one of the really strange things I did was on the way home after the wonderful kickoff or the awards party in Modesto. I wanted to go up to Las Vegas again and visit my friends again on the way home. So I drove through Yosemite, and I wound up getting there right about dark. And I don't know if you're familiar with Yosemite, but it's a pretty big mountain, and the pass on it is at 9,900 feet. It's the highest place you can drive a car in California. And by the time I got up to there, driving this nice, beautiful 2-lane twisty road in the Corvette, and it's dusk and it's just beautiful. But by the time I get to Tioga Pass, it's 10 o'clock and I'm feeling pretty tired. So I pull off the side of the road and go to sleep in the Corvette.
How cool.
And that was fun. But on the rest of the trip, it was a lot of fun hanging out with everyone and going racing. We can't mention the DragIt, can we?
we can do whatever we want here. I think the DragIt was a key component to this event.
The DragIt was pretty cool. I kind of made some misjudgments at the beginning of the event and wound up needing to make an extra pass. And Dan graciously lent me a DragIt. So somewhere in Mexico, I made a pass in my car and submitted my time, and I actually had a pretty low spread for compared to some of the other cars. Not nearly as good as Chris.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool to be able to do that. I think it really added to the ambiance of the event, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that technically makes it a 3-continent event, considering the hammers were over Canada.
I took my little temporary detour down to somewhere in Mexico. So yeah, it's we went all over the place. It was a lot of fun. I actually drove through 26 states. I marked them off in this car on this trip, which is that's over half of them. That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
really thankful for Bob for setting this up, for giving me the opportunity to do something this stupid of a car to do it in. It was just a fantastic trip. It'll be with me forever. Thank you.
Oversized Pirate, dude. What's one or two of your top memories?
Probably finishing and just going up to PCH with Chris and Jeremy. That was like, I've never done that, and that was like really impressive. So, I mean, changing out 2 trailer tires in a matter of a couple hours, that going to Harbor Freight right off the highway, that was a good time. But yeah, probably the transmission blowing out in Albuquerque sucked. But Ivan over there, Southwest Speed, he let me store it there. It got picked up today, or got picked up yesterday, and it's going to get delivered tomorrow. So that was, forever grateful for that. And yeah, and then Nathan, convincing me to get the truck and just go finish the route and, then go meet up and do PCH. That was probably one of the best parts. So.
That's cool. Yeah. Camp Counselor Bob, what about you, buddy?
Man, the whole event is kind of a memory, and just driving back, it was a 22-hour round trip, and we didn't stop. To get back to the house so I could work on Monday morning. But camping on the trailers outside of at the Love's truck stop, that one there, they couldn't believe that we were going to do it. The guys, they wanted to go, like they wanted to stop. And I was like, all right, Alex and Holly have a spot. They said we could pull the trailer up next to them. We pulled the trailer up next to theirs. They put their sleeping bags and their air mattresses on my flat deck trailer, and they just went to sleep. But the world famous Hot Rod Farm, I mean, how cool was that place?
Dude, the coolest.
Like
the coolest people, man.
My
and
car,
fireworks at the end.
Yeah.
My car didn't do the best. There's a lot of bugs to work out of it, but like you said, it has 20 miles on it. But if you look at everything that we did, I mean, look at this Tesla pizza truck, right?
Yeah.
Like that pizza was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Or listening to Rich Conklin talk about that little Mickey Thompson dragster,
the mini dragster, yeah,
the mini dragster. Talking about the people down at Mickey Thompson racing them down the street or racing them down the alleys and stuff. Those are experiences you're not going to get anywhere else. Us pulling up to get pictures outside the Red Ball garage, and then everybody just pulling in. Daniel almost fighting the person inside the deal. There's just
take our money.
There's so many good memories, and I'm just glad that I had this group to make them with.
That's so cool.
Okay, there is one more. Yeah. So water, right? Made a post that my car takes on water like the Titanic. Mm-hmm. Kyle, bless his heart, he was doing everything he could. There was water coming in right on top of the electric board that I just made because we had no idea that there was a hole right above it. And so he rips – the elevator's funny too, but he rips his BTR hat off and is bailing water. He's like holding it underneath this leak, filling it up with water, and then bailing the water out of the car as we're cruising because it's just downpouring. And then, you know, that one there. And then, you know, Josh, fast car kid there, he just brought up, but the elevator on the way out, me, him, Don, and Kyle, Josh, and can't remember who else was there. Steven, we were in the elevator, and Kyle and Don went up, and we are singing Country Roads Take Us Home in the elevator at the top of our lungs, all three of us. And Kyle walks up, and there's a door outside of the elevator, and he closed the door and barricaded it. So when you come up to the second floor, all it does is open to a big oak door, and we're like, is this someone's room? We were quiet, and then Don opened the door, and we laughed for a solid hour after that. Like, it was just it's something we will never forget.
Dude, that's awesome. The elevators were brutal to us, man.
I mean, yeah, we almost got stuck in one.
Yeah, door wouldn't open, wouldn't go anywhere. That was a good time. 6 dudes, and there's probably too many. Okay, real quick. Let me play this Detour, and I want to ask you guys one more question because we got to get Matt and Paul in here to talk about BC DragIt challenge. So let me do this one, and then we'll get to one last spot.
From street miles to track passes, your fuel system has one job: perform when it matters most. At Detour, we engineer high-performance fuel systems built for the demands of drag and drives. From injectors and fuel pumps to filters and regulators, every component is engineered to be reliable and consistent under real-world conditions. Whether you're chasing a personal best or driving hundreds of miles between tracks, Detour delivers the fuel system your build requires.
All right. Okay, last question I have for me, and then I'm going to let Eric talk some because obviously I've been just overrunning him. Sorry. Somebody said to mention the tree in the parking lot. What's the tree in the parking lot?
I have no idea.
Jim gone and Dan's gone. Okay. Well,
No,
we'll move
I'm
on.
here.
Oh, okay. It's just so dark we can't see you. Do you know the story of the tree in the parking lot?
I had to pass a cop, so I had to, flip my visor and turn my light off. No, I have no idea the tree in the parking lot. I was wondering that myself.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, I wonder if that's the one where Alex ripped or not Alex, but the Toolies ripped no, maybe it was Alex when he ripped the top of his camper off.
Oh, yeah, he ripped the camper off. Yeah,
he ripped there's a big piece on the thing, and I guess there was a tree, and they pulled over by it and just ripped a piece of the top of the camper off. Holly was less than amused, but
yeah. Chris Taylor says Alex ran the RV into the tree when we were fixing Don's car. Dude, what the heck, man? That's brutal.
Oh, it was brutal on campers. I mean, Michael backed his camper into something. I don't know what it was. But I mean, the bumper is, there, pull in the parking lot.
Holly was pissed.
I thought that was pretty new, wasn't it? Their camper.
Yeah, they were both brand new.
Both brand new. They both were brand new.
You can tell neither of them have their CDLs. I actually think Alex does, but he should probably get retested after that trip.
Yeah, for sure.
So other question here, some awesome nicknames. What was that in the chat group?
Well,
I think Dan became the nickname namer.
He did.
That's some good ones.
Well, we got Mr. No Hands, and then Michael there, just in his best Waka Flocka outfit.
I was trying to make a rip past the truck while Nathan was recording, and it was like run to the speed limit. And I was just like, sorry. Got a picture of it. It's perfect timing.
Then the nicknames got pretty aggressive after the event ended. Somebody got named the slowest average. Somebody got named the can't do a burnout. I don't know. They got pretty aggressive there for a while.
Josh was going to change mine to Captain Fat Sparrow, but decided not to. So, that one was almost in there.
Captain Glizzy Gobbler. I mean, that's that's top notch right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
kissing the tip and everything.
Yep. Always got to kiss the tip before you bite the hot dog. Got to show respect.
Yeah, I think it started with the oversize, and then
and
Nathan had to
ended
go
up eye
the
injury,
pirate.
so then we had to go get an eye patch.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys for having us on. We know that you guys have some very important guests behind us, as I can see that the studio chat keeps growing. But thanks for everything, guys.
Hang
Yeah,
on.
we have one more question.
Okay.
One last question. Are you going to do it again?
Not the cannonball route, but I do have 2 more events planned. And I don't know if my wife wants me to say this, but on Wednesday when we came through and we came to my house, she told me she was pregnant. So,
yay!
The whole world's going to know now. She probably doesn't want people to know, but you know what? YOLO, here we are. So we're going to be having a kid. And now with that, I'm not going to do anything in 27. But January, February 28, we're going to do the Texas 2-step, which is going to be the perimeter of Texas. I've got to lock some tracks down, but I know our boy Daniel over here has already been looking at routes. And then the following year, we are going to do border to border.
Oh, man. Come on.
So
that sounds fun. I'm down for at least halfway.
Yeah. 400 miles. All you need, bud.
A day, 400 a day. Freaking
that's right. You got 400 miles in that tank. You know, everything's less than 400.
Yeah. Dan, you gonna do whatever Robert's got planned?
Oh yeah. I already was, on Route Recon when I was driving through San Antonio. Got some pictures of Mexico, trying to figure out how close we want to run to the border, how much people are willing to risk it, Gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Well, y'all, thank you so much for coming on. I know this was short notice, but I really appreciate y'all doing this, man. I think this trip was legendary, and I can't wait for the next one.
Sounds good. Definitely. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Congrats, Bob.
Later.
Dude, what a fun event. I'm serious. It was a blast. It was that all week long. But it's funny when 13 cars and 22 or 3 people are hanging out and literally like tribally moving our way that far. You just become friends, man. You can't help it. Like, you're hanging out with these people. We hung out all day at Wabash Valley. Like, just being with these folks all this time. Just, I don't know. I love Drag and Drive for that reason. You're with people. You're doing hard stuff. This one was on a level that I had never even thought about or been on. So big shout out to Camp Counselor Bob. You can see more of stuff and what all he's got planned at campcounselorbob.com. And be looking for that next one, the Texas 2-step, buddy. I can't wait. We were kind of talking about that one. And to answer Chad's comment, when is the Texas one? He's talking about January or February of 2028. So plenty of time to get ready. All right, sir. Let's do it. Let's talk about some Performer Built stuff.
All right. Performer Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performer Built Transmissions, their goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performer Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa Built.
And dude, they put a 4L60 in the 7s, like 760s, 780s. And then how he priced his car, I think, is probably the key there. Like, that thing just absolutely rips. Yep.
Well, for this segment, we're going to talk about BC DragIt Challenge, and we have Paul Fournier, and Matt Blasco on. So do you want to bring them in?
All right, let's bring in Paul and Matt. Same time. Matt's getting ready for Big Sky Race Week as well.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
And someone behind me is too.
Oh, nice. Is that Rovic?
Oh, look who that is.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's working. There's his right there. Say hi.
Howdy.
Dude, what are y'all
So he
working
came
on?
by
Why do you
my
get the
place.
wheels off the trailer? Servicing?
We drove the wheels right off this thing. Trailer burnouts.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
he's just
well-
repacking his wheel bearings, and we put new tires on today. And then his car's in my shop here, right beside my project plane here.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, and then the dart's over in the kind of chucked it in the corner here.
Is everybody in Canada a pilot?
Not
Have to
quite,
be. It's
but
so damn
maybe.
big.
It feels like
Well,
there's
that's
a
just
bunch
a
of
cool
BC
one, yeah.
DragIt guys that are pilots too. So I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the dart's just hanging out in the corner.
Nice. Is that what
So-
you're taking to Big Sky? Or are you riding
Yeah,
this
yeah.
rod? Oh, yeah.
No, the other one, there's the one we can actually, this is the one I tapped the wall with. So it wasn't that bad actually, it's
Yeah.
it's quarter, right? So we're gonna do quarter. I'm waiting for doors, but the chassis is fine actually on that one. So
Oh, that's awesome.
kind of yeah. So
See, this is why you need multiple cars. So everybody needs multiple cars.
right.
Brian Extra
Well, I
says
had-
you have
like,
to be
I've
a
had my
pilot
dart
just to get
forever,
groceries.
so- Yeah, that's about right. It's almost. You'll hear some pheasants in the background here too, crowing. Because I live out of town.
Well, let's kind of start with some
Yeah, there you
intros. Paul, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Well, I'm just a media guy. I'm a contributing writer for Sick the Mag, and I did some coverage for BC DragIt. Hopefully, we'll be writing something for that and providing some footage for Drag Drive Repeat. But yeah, my background is my racing background is off road Mexico, literally Mexico, and I think that's what attracted me to Drag and Drive was I didn't race Baja 1000, I raced Mexican 1000 on a motorcycle and a car. And that's just a 5-day or 6-day rally, and it's really closely related to drag and drive, and that's why I think drag and drive appealed to me. So I saw Sick the Mag come out, and I loved print media and having that coffee table style book, and so I cold called and started writing for them in 2022 at Sick Week, and then I wanted to participate after writing about it for a few years and meeting some of these folks, like Raj in the background there, at these events and in the events that Matt was in. And so I just participated in the first BC DragIt Challenge 4 years ago. And I was hooked after that.
Yeah.
And there was like 37 people in that race. I'm probably getting the number wrong. It was like 37 entries showed up. But we did like a 48-page spread on it, which was awesome because they deserve it. Diane and Mark are doing a great job with that event and trying to grow it. And I really appreciate Matt coming this year, and it kind of upped the ante a little bit and made it a little more exciting to see some of those speeds that he was capable of and struggling too. But I mean, he's racing literally on 8th mile airstrips that have more tire snakes than they do, more tar snakes than they do asphalt.
Nice.
Anyways, that's my background.
Mark says 42 for the first one.
Yeah, I just enjoy these events and the people, and I just wrote a note when you said about these events becoming friends. I can't imagine not going back to the BC DragIt because of the people I've met there. So that's my thing. I just write about it and try to share the sport and try to grow it.
That's awesome. Matt, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Matt Blasco. I've been on here before a little bit, but it's, if it's either with Rich Guido or other guys, I also tune a lot of cars too, but I actually have cars of my own. I just end up not having the time to get them running, but I kind of told myself this year I'd actually get after it and get one of my cars going. So I worked on my dart over the winter and was trying to make Sick Week, didn't quite make that, but then I got it ready. BC DragIt was kind of we did Border Wars in Edmonton that they put on. And then I ran that. I runnered up in the kind of big tire import versus domestic class. I almost had a one, but I had a fuel pump problem, which showed itself on day one of BC DragIt, but we figured out the actual problem and Yeah, I was running my other car, but yeah, I'm just running the Dart this year. It's wanted something I didn't have to tinker with too much. It's got a twin turbo Gen 3 Hemi. Don't have to touch the valve covers. Just wanted something that was a little, less stress, a little easier to take care of, that you can still make decent power. So, and I didn't want it less. So
Matt's
Good.
kind of a big deal if nobody knows. If you don't know who Matt Blasco is, he's kind of cool. I don't want to give him too much praise here and really up his ego, but kind of a big deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been tuning a lot of guys' cars, but we actually I almost have Rovic to fuel injection. Almost, he's got it's carbs and coils now.
No
so
way, carbs and coils for life.
So we've got an actual ECU on it and coil near plug, and it's controlling his nitrous. But I was saying we should just pull 10 jet sides out of the front and back, put a couple injectors underneath, and he's
It would
perfect.
look right. It would look the same.
Yeah.
But what would he do with all that super cool WAF racing carburetor tuning tool kits?
Yeah, I'll probably run the Outlaw class at Big Sky. Yeah.
Nice.
Like my car is a Pro Street Power Adder car. I've won Pro Street Power Adder at Drag Week. Like that was actually won Fast Mopar a couple of years, but it's generally a Pro Street because it's steel, pretty much all steel except the trunk lid, hood, and bumpers. Like it's everything else is stock. It's a back half only, bolt on front. So I usually run Pro Street, but then they restricted to 535, and I've already ran quicker than that with this car. So hoping to be somewhere in the fours. I'm going to actually lean on it a bit now. I didn't want to lean on it at BC DragIt quite that much because it was a pretty fresh combo. So just maybe a little bit of experience was talking to me when I didn't want to push it too hard.
Well,
It's
and
just,
dude, you
can't look a
the
gift horse in the mouth
quickest
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, quickest ET and quickest average of the event ever, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was the goal was a 5-second average, which it doesn't sound fast, but when you're racing on some of those airports, like they do a really good job prepping. Actually, like they really take the time and apply good stick to them. It's just it's somewhat of a tuner's race in a way too, more power management than anything. But like the other fellow Jason that I was racing with, his car's pretty light. It doesn't have I'm probably double the power him, but his car works really well. Just how it is.
And
Yeah, the
looks
Mustang that was
damn
at
good.
the
Look how
in
good that
McBride.
shot looks. Bro,
So
that shot
yeah,
there,
my
wow.
Dart's about 1,000 pounds heavier than his, but he did really well in the event. Like on the first day, I was behind him. Like I just got in the fives. I was struggling, and then he actually had a bit over a tenth on me. And then the second day, we ended up in Prince George, and then I started turning the car up around. I think it was a 544 first run. Now the problem was my 60 foots, like they were high 1.3s, which is odd for my car. My car usually high 1.1, 1.2s. So I ran a 530, but it was still a 137.60. But what ended up actually is on the last day, I readjusted my 4-link back to where I used to have it, where I had kind of usually had it, and it 60 footed better on an airport strip than it did actually at the actual NHRA track on the last day, which is kind of funny. But it's just I've ran the car a lot, but I just got to kind of stick to what I know. I think instead of sometimes people make recommendations that are experts, but I should go with what I know and kind of stick to that. It's just lessons learned, right? Sometimes you know your car the best.
Right.
Well, can I just give a shout out to Jason Gibson because he's right. Jason ran an amazing week. He never changed his tires.
Oh man,
no, he did it like I did
raced
on
and
Drag
drove.
Week in 17. He just ran her. Like
That's just cool. The day in McBride when it was raining and I did an interview, I just dumped it on the photo dump or footage dump. And I said, are we going to change? Because I was talking to Matt about changing tires. He still had the big off-road tires on it. And he's like, we were just watching. And Jason's like, I don't change tires.
There they are. They're sitting right there, actually.
There they are. Yeah,
35-inch mutters.
I was hoping you were going to make a pass with those, but.
Well, I just didn't know tacos and burnouts. There you go, Rovic.
Tacos and burnouts. Yeah.
But it was. I don't know. I'm just afraid of wheel hop, right? And then you start breaking stuff. I might try it at Big Sky. We'll see.
Just make a lick on some mud tires. Well, man, I wish I was coming to Big Sky. I'm going to miss you guys. The list of racers that are our friends it's so long, man. It's so long. Well, I want to talk about while you're on that subject you were just on. Was there any changes other than that? Like, were you making changes to your suspension and stuff, like from the racetracks to the airports? And like, how did the week stack those tracks?
So like what I was doing is, since I'm, I guess, a tuner, I still actually need to hook some sensors up on that car, but just looking at the data, I had to really watch with power management. A lot of those, like he had the starting line was just amazing, but the problem is sometimes you get out a bit, it gets a little bit uneven. So you really got to really get out of the hole as much as you can, get the wheel speed up. And that way, when you're down track, it doesn't, like there's a few times where I was black tracking really hard down track, where if I just get it out of the hole, get it to like the 1,600 foot and get some tire speed, it was a lot better. So it was just more power management with it. You can kind of do it with timing, but a lot of it is just trying to get a boost ramp that'll get you down. It's one of those things where it's a challenge. I thought it was kind of going to be puppy kicking, really is what I kind of thought, oh, hey, I can just come and do it. But it really humbled me when it came to it, that I was like, wow, trying to get down a track even with a big tire was still a challenge. Like it opened my eyes a lot. And even with it prepped, it's just also the time of day. And he did a really good stupid mosquitoes did a really good, scheduling us and putting us after certain cars, so we would prep it and then make sure that we were getting on the more sticky tracks. So he put the run orders pretty good where it favored the bigger cars, because there's a lot of ones that it didn't really matter what we were running on. But there's a few really quick cars. There's a wagon that was really fast with a turbo LS, really nice guy. I met so many different people with so many different combinations, and there's a lot with potential that just I was kind of trying to help a lot of the guys too. Just like, not that I was trying to pick up tuning jobs, but I think I got about a dozen cars to help out and go through, but just sit down and try and explain the, see there, we're getting actually the tires are going on.
Sorry for the noise. Got to be done.
It's got to be done. Yeah. What are you talking about? I don't think anybody watching this minded that.
No, it was just trying to get the power down, but there's a lot. The thing is, it doesn't matter how big of a tire you have on those tracks. Sometimes it's just really hard to get down, especially the time of day too. If it gets hot, if it's cold. We had one day, it was in McBride. It looked like a really nice surface, actually, like it would hook really good, but we ended up almost having rain out days. So they ran pretty much all the other classes except the top class. And I was really nervous going down. Like, I know I could have detuned it to get it down-ish, but it was good. He made the right call. We went and did burnouts for the crowd, but just kind of took a zero and went on the next day for that class. So good judgment for safety. Like he does keep you in mind. I did see that,
and I was wondering if maybe like most of the classes got runs and then it rained out. The second half, but it may not have rained, but it just made the right call there.
There was drizzle, and there was a lot of cars that it didn't necessarily. Yeah, Rovico is making noise. There was, it was just a little. It was dry, but it wasn't necessarily completely dry. So he just didn't want to take a risk, and I'm glad with that. Because I was a little nervous getting down on that, because you're trying to apply power, and it just becomes a skating rink. But that track, if it would have been completely dry, it would have been actually really good. I think it seemed to be one of the better surfaces that we raced on. The Prince George track was actually really nice. It's a great run and HRA track. Just in general, I was really impressed with it. A lot of the racing surfaces weren't bad, actually. It was just, some were pretty virgin. It's kind of like a no prep in a way, is how it is. And there's lots of guys though getting down that'll just yank the tires. Like I was watching it, I'm like, man, I was jealous, and I'm the one with the big tires. So some of those guys really have it figured out. It's just like, if you see some of those though, I was trying to apply the power down and it just started smoking the tires up at the top. But Yeah, I think there can be Marshall. He's the guy pulling the wheels.
Marshall's is the wagon.
This car was, it's a Turbo LS in it, and I was helping him out. And we ended up actually finding out that he had a bad connection on the coil. He hadn't ever actually yanked all the plugs out on the one side to look, but we figured it out and was helping him out with the car. But that car is amazing to watch launch, even on a no prep surface. I was just envious of it. And there's so many different cars.
He had a tough run this year too. Marshall had some issues on the road portions with trailers and stuff.
Yeah,
but I just want to say, Matt, you were being very gracious when you say it's like no prep. It's like no prep with cracks in the pavement that big. and weeds growing through them. And I think that, and that's intentional. I mean, the thing is, it's why if you talk to Mark and Diane, it's called challenge for a reason. And it really made you work, and you did amazing. And as a writer, it's like watching these guys. There were some surfaces along the track that are just bad, and these guys are doing some amazing things with their cars. So I just want to give you being humble.
So what we ended up doing, our changes, is for the road, we'd actually with the front, we would take all the rebound out of it and then put lots of compression so it would let the front end pop up and not drop. And then the back ones, I forget what it was, but kind of in the middle in the back. But then when we're driving, the one thing when you're hauling a trailer and you're a back half car, you have to really loosen off the rear shocks, or else it'll want to flex that rear frame with the trailer. That's something I learned early on in drag and drive, is make sure you loosen off at least at minimum your rear shocks so your back can actually, move with the trailer. Because what it'll do is it'll start beating on the back of your car. And as I think it was 15, it buckled my quarters a bit after that. So
I think you got that figured out after that 6-car pass you did.
Oh, yeah, I had my inner Rovic and Rich there. I've always, I remember Pat Miker and we were in drag week 17 and we had 250 miles to do, and we did that in just over 3 hours, and we had 2 gas stops, and he ran out of gas once. So I don't want to say what speeds we were going, but we were hauling. So I it's an object in motion stays in motion. That's one of my mottos when it comes to drag and drive, is as long as you're moving, you're making miles, and that's one less mile you have to do. So the sooner you get there, we always try and get on the road and go as fast as it was. The funny thing was I had passed all these cars, and I was trying to catch up to actually my friend Ray Huppy, who was in his Mustang twin turbo Coyote, trying to catch up to him. While I catch up to him, while freaking about a mile maybe down the road, he jumped off to go to a gas station. I'm like, wow, I feel like a jackass after passing a big row of cars, have the gear vendor on, and you're passing at a speed in BC that they might or might not have taken your car. You never know, right?
Well, let's talk. Can I talk about that for a second, Mike and Eric? Is one of the things that we take for granted in the States. You can pretty much drive anything in the States, hood off, no one cares. Windshield crack. We have a lot of freedom here, and like Matt's talking about, we had cars these cars literally should not have been on the road, but I'm knocking on wood now because I did not see a lot of Mounties anywhere. And
no, I think I only saw actually 2, and it was just few and far between. I was quite surprised because they were telling me watch out for Mounties, but we were going a pretty good pace most of the time, just because that's what we're used to, is you get on the road and make miles no matter what. Some of the days we were kind of one of the later cars leaving the track, just one thing or another, having to fight the track. The problem is when you're at it, and he doesn't necessarily favor the top cars. Everybody gets their runs, which is good. He doesn't I don't like being kind of singled out and saying, hey, get special treatment. So he would give everybody, make sure they had their runs. Some of the bracket guys, they would do multiples, but not as many. They were pretty respectful. So at least we would get our runs in. So everybody would have an equal opportunity, where one guy just wouldn't get 10 or 20 passes where everybody else didn't. That was the other good thing about it.
Robert.
We were just talking about guys doing 20 passes.
Oh, yeah. Hey, 26.
The thing about that too is that he's absolutely right, but that's the other thing is because a lot of these are airstrips, the more cars that went ahead to lay down some rubber and get some of that surface a little bit better for them was great. And I don't think Matt, I don't think anybody felt bad about you you and Jason, we wanted to see you run, so we wanted to get the track.
Yeah, it was good. And the nice thing is like the first day, kind of a few people I think were a little intimidated by me because they didn't know me or they didn't recognize the car because it's blue now. I might wrap a flat black again. It just doesn't feel quite 100% right. But it's most people didn't really know me, and I said hi to a few guys, and then I had a friend from Island Torque Converter, Royce, who I had known, and he's a good torque converter guy up in Canada here. He participates in it, so I have worked with him in some of the stuff. So he was, helping us kind of fit in, and then by the second, third day, you get to know everybody, and looking at guys' cars. I helped another guy fix his idle, and just a bunch of guys. I said, if you have a problem, just come up. So I ended up helping a lot of different guys on it when we weren't too busy, just to help them get better, because really by making everybody faster, it helps it in general. But the other thing that I really found interesting about the event is there were some older ladies, like probably 60s or so. The one had a small block and it was like a Cavalier looking thing. I forget, it was a K car. Mark would be able to chime in.
It was the Cavalier.
Yeah, and it had a V8 in it, and I looked at it, I'm like, no shit. I was like, that is cool. And she was like doing really well and having a good time. There's other
she beat me.
Yeah. Another one with the green dart.
I'm slow.
She does a lot of the drag and drives. Sorry, I'm not the best with names. She was there.
Kathy and
Kathy
the green Dodge Dart, who also, she's been there a few years, I think, and she's great.
Oh, cool.
Has a great time.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there that it was great to see. And then a lot of guys, a lot in the top class, but we all just try to help each other out with it. And I found it wasn't, after the first day, everybody seemed to really, it really came about really well, because it's just everybody helping everybody. There wasn't this, sometimes you get to, Bev with the Cavalier. Sometimes you get these events, everybody seems to be, the competition ego comes out, but usually it's by the third, fourth day that sort of goes away. Everybody starts to go. This one, it was about after the first day. There actually really wasn't much ego in the event, which was good. And like Jason and I ended up, we're good friends. I talked to him. I've got him talked in DFI and his wife too. So
nice.
We're going to help him get DFI and maybe turbo it. And then that way next year he can lay a whooping on me. Just to really, make everybody faster. But like that car is going to be somebody reckoned with. I had told him, you should start to come to these other events. And I think that car will be one to watch for too.
Yeah,
it's
good looking.
Oh yeah, and it's a beautiful.
It's a clean car. It's a very clean car.
He was complaining about the dirt, and I was just like, whatever, What's
the combo in it?
It's a small Ford on nitrous, is what his is.
Oh wow!
With I think it's a Glide in it. I believe he has he has a gear bender also, and it's on a 315 radial, which
nice.
I think on a slick, like some of these ones, like say Big Sky for example, a slick is a little better on some of the surfaces, just depending, because some of these tracks don't get to run year round like a lot of these other ones. Like they're only running 4 or 5 months, and that does impact it. Where if you're not running all year, you don't end up with that real base of good rubber, or just the guys being able to figure out the surface who are prepping it. It's pretty hard to come up with.
When airplanes are landing on them, it becomes tough.
Yeah, parking lot parties too. Yeah, the good thing is we'd pull in the parking lots, and there'd be someone working on it. I met the one night, talked to a bunch of Challenger guys, and we just shared ideas, because like I have a daily driver Challenger and I tune a lot of them, so we were just going over things. There's so many wide array of cars, and there's hot rods, there's there's an older fellow there, there's a lot of, which is good, as older guys there. It's just such a wide range of people and families, and just it feels like some of the early days of drag and drive when we first started, where there's a little bit of media kind of thing around and such, but it was great because it was just more camaraderie based with it. It's still competition, but at the end of the day, side of the road, everybody always made sure everybody would get there. We ended up almost getting rain a lot of the days, only part of it, but we only got sort of that partial rain out the one day, but we ended up driving in the rain quite a bit. It was nice, but that
street car stuff, man.
Well, and that part of BC I'd never actually been through, so it was a great spot to like that. I posted a few videos on my page called the Dirty Drag Week Dart. I'll post even some more videos of just going through there, and it's just great yeah, if you see, there's just beautiful drives all the way through in those areas, and you're able to cruise pretty quick. The other thing is a lot of the towns are, they're smaller towns, but there's great food too, actually, along the way.
I'd like to talk about the rain for a second, Matt, because it's funny. It's on the footage that I dumped when I interviewed you, and you talked about Bradenton and letting how they didn't have the fast cars running. You did that. I will tell you this, guys, Eric and Mike, that as a guy who's covered several American Dragon drives, these BC people are crazy when it rains. Like you show up and we showed up that morning and it was bad and there were puddles and I don't know what Matt thought, but I'm like, normally I would say we're not going to ride today, but I've been here for 4 years and these people are crazy. Like that track, the track in Prince George has a drop in. We don't discuss that. It's hard to see it even on camera. It literally drops in. And the first, I don't know if it was the first year or the second year, but there was like a lake. And we thought, oh, we're never going to race. And I looked at, and the BC guys all looked at me and says, no, we're going to race today. And you're like, there's no way this would happen in the States. Tom Bailey would close this thing down and we'd be done and moving on the highway. And I thought that with McBride this year again. And they got the cars on there and they just run it. They just run the track and get it dry enough. We had a break in the weather. I don't think it ever stopped raining. It was drizzling.
It had just a tiny drizzle. That's why he didn't not necessarily let us go down, but made that decision where it's like,
well, you guys did a smoke show for the crowd. There's like a town.
Yeah, I did.
We all did good burnouts. There's 450 people in this town, and there's 100 cars on their airstrip, and so most of the time, a lot of the
coffee.
Cars you'll see,
we got a gift bag from there, and there's a bag of coffee. Well, the missus actually, there's a couple rings in there, and I looked at it. She's like, "These aren't from you, are they?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, no. I'm the ring of the coffee. I almost dodged.
That's the one thing about this event too, which is so I think different too, is a lot of these we're going in places in BC that really need visitors. Like Mark and Diane are really good about they understand that filling these hotels, getting these restaurants filled, like that's part of Dragon Drive, right? These folks welcome us. Mm-hmm. They want the car show. They want to celebrate the
charity
racers.
Barbecue at the one where we had
absolutely.
Gift bags and the mayor. So after actually McBride, the one where we just did burnouts, I was talking to the mayor about the airport and he said they're putting in more hangars, but he told me, he's like, oh, we sell avgas at cost. And I'm like, really? So we were actually flying past there the other day. I actually didn't want to quite push my fuel. I landed in Prince George, but I was going to go there. And every time I fly past there, I'm going to stop just because.
There you go.
It's one of those things, and it's a great airport.
Yeah, they love this event. It's tough. The hotels aren't, sometimes they're booked up and they're not the best, all of them. But
no,
it reminds me of Mexico. I'll tell you, some of these places, it's like you just like, well, we're here for the event, and like I heard somebody earlier in the show sleeping in the back of a trailer, and that's kind of the attitude you have to have when you go up here. But the locals love it. And they do a great job.
The thing is, the locals weren't shy to, I talked to a lot of the locals that were just blown away by the car. And, my car is kind of a maybe upper middle of the road car in most of the bigger events. Sometimes it can do really well, but, in that event, it was pretty good. But a lot of the guys hadn't seen a car of sort of the upper caliber that's, won some events, around. So they were quite blown away that, hey, this is a street car. And I'm like, I lean in, hit the thing, fire it up, and it just idles away. And I'm like, you just put it in gear and drive it. Like it's not a extreme race car. I didn't really mean it to be that way. It's almost a daily
and they're like,
drive.
but it runs 530s here. What?
Yeah, I know the car. I'm going to try and get in the 4s and at Big Sky here. I think it'll do it. We just actually swapped some tires today, and a friend of mine's got some centers. I actually didn't realize the bolt pattern was different, but I was running on tires from 2019 that we had actually won Miles of Mayhem with in 2022, Rich Vito and I. And then I looked at them, I'm like, man, because they were stored inside and then they didn't really bloom. They were good, but
that's something Raj would do. The guy behind you would do that. He goes through tires like lifesaver, like Tic Tacs.
Yeah, I just the amount of money that tires are, and if there's tread on them, it's a big tire car for the most part. They hook, but I've got a better set for this event just because there's going to be Big Sky usually brings out some really quick guys that have been there, and I helped them actually with their spreadsheets and such just like Miles of Mayhem, keep all the stats and have the lives. So Austin does a really good job at Big Sky. I've been there. I haven't actually participated, but I've followed along a bunch of the time, and lots of my friends have went. So with my car running this year, I said, hey, this is one of the bucket list events that I want to make sure, because that part of Montana is really beautiful, and some of the drives are just unreal. Now it's supposed to be over 100 on the starting day. Like it's going to be 103, which there is nuts. Like it's usually 80s, maybe 90s. So it'll be interesting. The BC one was actually nice. I sat on, like I could have ran the whole event without a cooling fan. It had rained, but it was warm, but it wasn't that hot, which was great. This car actually cools really well. I have the same cooling system I had when I had the big Hemi in it, and I just run a Challenger brushless Dorman fan on it, a $200 fan, but when it kicks on, it cools it down instantly. This car has a factory water pump, factory alternator, factory pulley setup. Like I tried to do a lot of the factory stuff, so if I'm ever broken down on it, with it, it's got a pair of HPT turbos. Those things surprised the heck out of me. Tristan Kimple set me up with them, and that thing, even with, I had an overly tight converter when I had ran my first race. I put a better one in now, but the thing spools even just unreal, and lights. The car has been impressing me with the Gen 3 Hemi. I've had a lot more horsepower, but this one I'm like, it's not going to be as hard. But when you go to BC DragIt, I'm glad I had this one, because I can kind of knock the nuts out of it a little bit. Compared to my other motors, it's hard to pull the power out of them. It's always power delivery, and it's trying not to. The other thing is trying not to cut ignition, because when you start cutting ignition, you make big EGTs, or you'll heat up or retard the timing. You almost put so much heat in, you can tool up an exhaust valve. So someone who thinks, hey, I'm going to go run my traction control and go kick everybody's ass on this event, you're going to end up burning your exhaust valves out or hurting a head gasket, because you're going to put so much heat in that exhaust port that you have no idea. So it's more getting your actual power delivery in check and then using that as a backstop. So I didn't do any of that fancy stuff, because I have to work on my car a little more to finish that stuff. But that's on this event it's challenging, but I have to say, I really want to go back now. Rovik, I think he's going to come next year, and I'm going to get rich, and I wanted to come and, a lot of people know my car, but just get more people to come to this smaller event. But I think people would really enjoy it, just because the camaraderie, but the places you see, and there's a great taco joint that I was showing him. He was all horny about that. So,
well, and I think that's one of the great things that we're seeing now, like especially with experienced drag and drive racers, is we're looking for that next fun event, that next reason to go somewhere new.
It's called the next hit, Mike.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It is.
Give me a bump, bud.
Yeah,
it's one of those events that I think a lot of the even more hardcore guys they would come to, I think they'd still enjoy it, because you're all racing on the same surface regardless. Yeah. And these guys look at it, they're all slow. Well, I thought, heck, I'm just gonna run 5-second average like nothing. Well, the only reason I got a 5-second average is on that last day. I finally, I did my suspension change and finally figured out how to get the thing down. And I ran a 5.99, I think it was 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. I just by the skin of it on my very last run, I knew I had to run a 5.72 or better to actually get me. And that's a no prep pretty much. And I'm like, geez, this is like, I ran a 5.95 or 5.94, a 5.80 something. And then I'm like, well, I got one more run, and it was getting towards the end, because they, don't want to send people too late, because it's usually a decent drive home. And I ran a 5.71, I think it was, and did it and got it done. But because that was a big goal that I found a lot of the guys is trying to get a 5-second average there. It was more of a challenge than I thought. I think a 4-second average, you never know, one day it might happen there. It's as there's more tracks or expands, there's also different parts of BC that they can do them in that have a few more tracks. So I think at the end of the day, it'll be as they expand or try different things. The other thing we were talking about is, they have good traction compound, or maybe even getting into there's, pimp juice, stuff like that. They make a lot of these different types that might be something to even explore. I was talking to a few people in the US that maybe have it or at least glue part of it and then use the rest as a, with what it is. But they did a really good job. Most of the cars did really well, just in general. And even the bigger power, like I got down some of those tracks, I was quite surprised at how good it stuck in it. It's just down in the US, you can just, it's let go of the tranny brake. That's about the racing it is. You let go of the tranny brake, and that's what the racing is. There's no real driving the car. It's just piling the power as quick as you can, and you don't really have to worry about knocking the tires off. Like I know my car at most events, you usually aren't having traction troubles, where this one, it takes a lot of skill to get down these. And that's where I think you get more of these seasoned dragon drivers. I think they would really appreciate it more. Like I know Rich would really do it, or like Rovic, or just like even Chris from Off Racing. I think he would enjoy something like this. And just even in general, even Tom Bailey, like any of these guys, I think would come to this event and really enjoy it. And just, it gets you back to where sort of at the end of the day is where you sort of began in drag racing, and you come to these smaller tracks or ones that they prep airports. Like we had an airport race here that just lately, and it's, the prep at these was better than the one we had there, but it brings you back to that and just gets you back to realizing that, hey, it gets the challenge there, where these other ones, just the prep makes it too easy sometimes.
I want to talk about that too. And they're laying the prep with an ATV and a hand sprayer, and they're doing an amazing job. And I think that's, Matt, you're hitting on it. The difference between a stateside, this one is really a challenge, and it's not a big spectator. This is about, it reminds me of Mexico when you're in the middle of a desert and no one's watching you and you have to make it work. You have to keep.
Yeah, like some of them they had decent crowds, but some of them, the airports, they didn't necessarily want spectators.
Right, but it's not going to, you don't have all the YouTubers.
Yeah, you don't have a million people, and
you don't
YouTube
have
people aren't showing off.
The crowds for Cletus. And although those are great for those events, like you said, I really like how you just said that, is you just let the trans brake go and you go. And here is like, you really have to work back to get that car to go down this track, and no one's watching. Like, I mean,
you're doing it for yourself, right? Like it's not,
you're racing yourself,
not an ego thing.
Yourself. And I love that. To me, this was really where, like you said, a lot of cars, you thought you think you're going to go in there and just kill it. And here's a car, an old station wagon. He's been running this track for 4 years, So he used to, he had the football and the coil spring trick, because he would do the what do you call that? The G-body shuffle. And so, like, this is what makes this event fun, is it's all camaraderie. It's all, sitting in the parking lot, bench racing in the evening. And in the daytime, like, if you're lucky, you'll have a couple hundred people maybe watching it, maybe. But ultimately, it's everybody else. And what's different about this event is, I notice more of the racers come up to the fence, especially at Prince George, and they're watching. And we're watching the other racers. Whereas some of the bigger events, they're so busy.
Yeah, like I came up and watched some of the classes and just watching guys run and seeing. And I know I saw the one, and I think I said to the guy, put a little bit more air in your tires. You're really crushing. And he said, really? He said, I don't really ever have many people watch. And I said, yeah, put a few more pounds. And he went out and did better. It seemed to 60 a little better, but it's just everybody's kind of watching, or says, hey, it's the great thing about it is everybody's watching out for everybody, and there's still competition, but everybody is for each other. It's everybody doing better on this event, trying to encourage. The other cool thing is when we came into Ashcroft on that day, we went by this huge copper mine that Tech runs, and it was unreal drive. So we drove out of Merritt, I think it was, all the way up, and I don't know if what's that called, the Coquihalla. So we're driving up the Coquihalla, and you have to go up, and it's a big long grade all the way to the top, and then you cut across and you're supposed to go to this lake. Well, we came out, and I'm like, it's going to heat this tranny up, and my fan still didn't quite kick on. I was laughing, but we were going up, and it was a long pull, and I'm like, man, some of these guys, like, it's a long pull. You get some of these cars that are borderline street or have cooling problems, like you're at altitude too, so it feels like Rocky Mountain Race Week, because I've been on a lot of those. Some of those drives were really, like, it's as challenging, or the cooling issues were, like, I would say it's similar to drives with a mix of some of the like Six Smokies tracks, sort of like a mix between Six Smokies and Rocky Mountain Race Week with a little bit of kind of Miles of Mayhem too. Like it wasn't all necessarily like the, it was unique and it was similar in some ways, but the drives, when we went up the Coca-Cola, we went to this large copper mine, and it goes for miles and miles, and it's neat. And then we saw some moose, we saw, squirrels and lots of wild
bear and
Bear, yeah.
Deer.
And last year they ran that track. They ran Ashcroft the other way, and that hill coming up the other way is even a steeper grade.
Oh yeah. Well, I got
did kill a couple of
trucks, and that sucked because I wanted to engine brake down that all. Well, I'm like, man, I'll go and I'll engine brake, but I got to get running a bit to, it's either third or first, have my engine braking in this Rossler that I had in it. So I
think there's like 6 runaway truck ramps on that.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, get out of the freaking way. It pissed me off. But so we got down in Ashcroft, and the cool thing was they shut the whole town down on the main street. And then you're supposed to take a picture by one of these, it's funny, the mining trucks, or there's a couple places, but they had a big car show, and the whole town came out for this impromptu car show. So we'd stop there, everybody said hi, drove through, and then when you were done, you could continue on your way. But some of these towns will, shut it down, or there's so many people that come and watch because it is a highlight of their summer. Like they actually look forward to this, which is awesome. Where like, you go in the States, that's the cool thing that you see is, down south there's some beautiful places, but this too, like these little towns, it felt like sometimes you're going through drag week in the early days where you just there's all of a sudden all these people everywhere. When they know, say, Sick Week's coming through town, you just get thousands of people. Well, some of these young kids, they're looking, and you give them a wave, and they're just, they
don't see cars like that like we do here in the States.
No,
okay,
they don't.
We got to go to the next segment. We're going to be over on the show, and I don't want to miss this next part. So big shout out to Performer Built. Appreciate them and all they have done for us. Baddest GM transmission builders in the planet, and AFCO Racing products here. So racers know when you want performance that wins, you want AFCO. From shocks and suspension to cooling brakes and more, AFCO Racing has been helping teams go faster for over 30 years. Built by racers for racers. Check out the AFCO Advantage and follow them today on social media for the latest in performance parts. AFCO Racing, built to win. I want, you guys are hitting on some great stuff, and I'm gonna hand it over to Eric for a minute so he can get some stuff in here, because I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so really up next here, we kind of want to talk about one or two of your top memories from the trip. So Paul, do you want to go ahead and kick that off for us?
Well, I had an eventful, my car survived. So my thing for this event is I spend less than $4,000 on a car, and that's what I race. And I bought the first year, I just took a GMC, my work truck, whatever, just a 5.3 with threw 150 shot on it, and it was a 14-second truck, quarter mile, and slow as hell. But I just the bracket class. So for me, the highlight is this. I will always go back to this event. I've been to a ton of events. One of the things what Matt was just saying about these small towns, besides for Prince George and maybe Cache Creek, but after that, like 3 of the days, I don't know if I saw a traffic light.
Wow.
And I've been through Sick Week.
You didn't have the real bad traffic. That was a good thing about this event.
Oh my God! When I was chasing Sick Week,
too much.
When you're chasing Sick Week I had Wes Allison, one of the best hot rod photographers in the world, and we're chasing it, and you get stuck in traffic for 4 hours, and you're going from light to light to light to light. You're not going to do that at BC DragIt. You're going to drive. We saw bear cubs, like you said, moose, bear cubs, horses on the road. My best memory of this, well, one, I love the tacos, and not kidding.
In Cache Creek,
oh my God, they're better. They're as good as Mexican tacos, like a real Mexican.
I eat way too much Mexican on these drag and drives because Rovic just insists. I'd rather do the Texas Roadhouse thing, but it's.
So I didn't know you were going to ask me my favorite. I don't have a favorite except for it keeps getting better every year. I just love it. It's different. It's a different experience. I think it's never going to be as huge as a stateside one because simply these towns can't support the amount of people coming into them. which makes it, to me, like to Matt's point, like let's get Tom Bailey up there. Let's get some of these guys. But guess what? The crowds ain't. There's no place for them to go. It's going to literally be a challenge. This is these, and by the way, in the Canadians,
we're getting more efficient, which is good too. So I think
you guys are the Canadians are the best people. I said this at this event, and I'll shut up. I'm from the East Coast, originally from Boston. At least BC. I don't know about Matt, but at least BC, their first language is sarcasm, and their second language is English, and that's how I work. So these people, I have the best time. They feel like family. I know Mike and Eric, you both know what this is. When you go on an event like the event you guys are talking, the Detour, it's like you go into battle with these people, with this group of people, and you come out and you have a camaraderie and a relationship with people. And I don't see these people. I wish I saw them more. I should go up there. It's only an 11-hour drive. I can do it in a day, but I go every year, and I look forward to it because it's like going to see family that you haven't seen for a while. So that's my best memory is just seeing my family again.
That's awesome. What about you, Matt? One or two top memories?
The memorable one was I was trying to get down the track, and I've had the car on 3 wheels, but yeah, when it smokes them up top, and I had the one video there, and I'm like, I didn't think it was that bad. Like, it didn't feel that bad, but I was going, oh yeah, I'll put some power in up top, just like thinking I'm just gonna, go down like nothing, and the thing just blew the tires off. Like, it was going out, and it just started skating hard, and I caught it. But as you know, in Dragon drives, you got to keep your, at least keep the most power in for the longest amount of time that you can. So you're unfortunately pedaling it instead of just chopping it where you would at some places and just go up again. But I think skating around at Cache Creek on the first day was probably one of my memories there.
It doesn't have much of a run out, guys. Mike, Eric, if you saw the video, you get to the end where he was going all squirrely. There's a cliff. Like there was
good shutdown. I only pulled my shoes in storage, but they're still. You got to get on the brakes on some of those. I guess it depends a mile an hour you're going. I'd say the memorable moments. A lot of different people. I would say I remember a lot of the gas station stops, or just even talking just to random people that you start to talk that don't get nervous to talk to, because the one guy's like, oh, you're a celebrity. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not anybody. Like, I'm just.
You're kind of a big deal.
I'm a normal person, but they're like, oh yeah, I see on this, I see on that. Well, and they're like, oh, you're kind of, hey, you're here. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just, we're all normal. Like, it doesn't, it's like Rich, guys talk up, realize how down to earth he is, or Rovik, it's just normal people. So it was cool, just the people that I met that were just to show up at these places. The other one was my co-pilot Kevin Leenan that was with me. He had never been on a Dragon Drive, so he's never been on it. He's got a Dragon Drive car. He can't really race because he ends up, he has a problem because he got in a car accident, so he gets more headaches. It's just a health thing. He can't. So I race his cars, but it's a good way. I think the best part of it is he was able to participate and felt he was part of the event on the Dragon Drive. And that's, I think, was my best part, is seeing him, how happy and how he was to be included in it, even though he wasn't racing, but he was a large part of the reason why I finished, to be part there and feeling like you are the team, which he was. So I think that's one of my probably best memories of it, is just seeing how happy, and even after, like, he talked to so many people and just was raving at how much fun he had on that Dragon Drive. And I thought that was a great one to start him out with too. But I think that was my best out of the whole event, is seeing how happy and excited, that first Dragon Drive that you do, watching him be so excited and hyped up about it. That's probably my best one. And then just all the different guys that come up and talk to him, talk to everybody at that event. It's always these, just the people that aren't really hardcore in Dragon Drive that come to these and watch, that just love to see it. So that's probably my best.
That's awesome. One of the other things I know we talked a little bit about before the show was kind of talking about how the standings are determined for this event.
Just blows my mind.
Yeah, so I was looking at the spreadsheet, and I've talked to Mark a bit about it, and I think eventually we'll get it kind of more of a live one, because there's people that want to follow along, but they do a lot to keep that event going, to prep. Like, there's a lot to go with it. with what they're doing, because they got to set up, like it's setting up a whole track each day when they come there, so it's a lot of work. So for them to do it, I think we'll probably work with them a bit. I think they have a decent IT guy, but it's their spreadsheet, so they make a combo of it. It's your how far you're off your dial plus your ET, or plus your reaction time every day on a lot of those classes. And then there's heads up ones where they don't do the 1 second rule, but I always try and keep under that just so I don't ever get in that being lazy.
I just want to show folks that this is what it looks like, bro. Like when I got this, I was like, what am I even looking at? Like
so they'll do their reaction time in ET, and they'll have their dial that they'll set on the first day, but then they can't run past it. If they run, say, past it or whatever, like they'll add that on. There's a lot of little things that, and I'll have to ask Mark a little more about it.
I can talk about that.
Getting it right. They're doing their
please
combos with it. They make so it is a little bit more where guys are just, I got to do this thing, but then its reaction time is factored in it, right? And that's what really is the hard thing, is getting the reaction time plus getting close to your dial, where some just do it doesn't matter what your action is, you just got to hit your dial, right?
And
so
I think as long as you've ran with drag and drive stuff, I mean, you've obviously seen it that way. I like trying a different way. But man, when I first saw this, I was really a little, to be honest, I was overwhelmed, because when you start looking, for folks like Eric and I that are tracking this stuff from years past, I had no idea that we were looking at that. There's a lot of events now that collect reaction time, but to actually use it as part of the package, I thought that was pretty interesting. But I get it for the bracket side. But like for the 640 and 740 index stuff, I really didn't understand using it with that. But I think
they use that for the combo just so it made it a little more interesting. So you had to cut a light, because there's so many people. Like there's a bunch of people in those classes, but just trying to cut a light, I think that's more of as being on your mark is what they're doing. Yeah, it's a little different with it, and you never know, they might change up a little bit, but it's a different way of doing it. The heads up classes are still the heads up, in their way. The other thing that, talking with them is if, we end up getting a lot of more different cars is if there's, say, classes that say fit it, I'm sure they'll fit something into that, if they get a certain type of car, they'll bring a lot, make a class for it. It's just, there's still a limited number of cars, but I think as they're getting more efficient, they'll be able to bring more in. And some of these towns, they had talked about, they might use some different locations. I don't necessarily want to say, but might actually accommodate some more. There's a lot of really nice racing facilities in BC. Like Mission is one of the fastest tracks in North America, Mission Raceway, because it's right on sea level pretty much, and the air is always good, and the track's on point. So it's one of the best ones around, which incorporating that though, sometimes the drives and the tracks are a little far from each other. So, being in more of the rural areas or the smaller areas is kind of nice, because it's, you're just the ones there and it's middle of the week. So your hotel rooms weren't crazy, right? Like they were actually pretty affordable. I'd say out of the drag and drives, this was one of the more affordable ones that I think I've done.
That's awesome. Paul, give us a rundown of some of this stuff.
Well, I was just going to tell you the package deal. Like I hear Matt saying, this is one of the things that separates this race. I didn't understand it when I first came up, and I was covering it for SICK, and I'm like, I don't get it. And if you read the piece I did, and if you watch some of the footage dumps, I filmed it, and it's really interesting. But I guess I'll say this: for the real fast guys, I would agree with Matt. I think maybe including the reaction time for some of the faster guys is maybe that should be looked at. But I will tell you, for the bracket guys, they love it, and it's weird.
So I think if you did that on the 850 class and you did reaction time, I think that would
here's the deal. The reality is.
Like, you think of it, you look at how many people can run 850, but how many can do it with an overreaction time?
But
double overreaction, not many.
See, this is where I would disagree. I think maybe I'll disagree. I don't know. But the reality is, to the point of, if I go to a prep track and I just release a turns brake and I've dialed in that car with my computer and everything else, it's going to do what it's going to do. But my reaction to that is different, and that's why Tom. I mean, they instituted a no sleeping on the light thing. It is difficult, and I can tell you, it's hard for me to get a 00 reaction time.
Oh yeah,
and we had one.
If I'm a decent O or a lower
got a perfect light, and he got a perfect light first time in his career Prince George, Ian, and it's like it's incredible. It just adds another for bracket racers when you are slow. And what happens is we have Rob Campbell won last year. I think he came in second this year, and he runs a 6-cylinder Fairlane with a 300. I think it's a 300, but it's a 6-cylinder. It's probably a 260, whatever the hell. I don't know what a Ford Fairlane runs, but it's a really well built motor. It's slow, but it's consistent, and he gets his reaction time in. So I guess trying to grow a sport for me as a writer, trying to say, hey, you don't have to be as good as Matt or have the money to put a car like him, but you can come here, and even if you have an LS turbo, twin turbo, junkyard motor, a guy with a 6-cylinder might beat you because he dials in and he's able to get a 00 on his.
Well,
on his
some of
reaction
those
time.
older ladies were cutting the tree down. Like I was.
I'm
watching
telling you what, it
cool to
forces
watch.
me, right? And so then you have to look at, and there's a whole math. It's like algebra to
Sorry,
figure
I'm
out
pulling this back up.
trigonometry to figure out which pass to turn in, which slip to turn in. I had like I have people that I go to, and I'm like, help me out, Greg. Like, what do I do? Help me out, the Dawson brothers. Like, what do I do? And they tell me to turn in a slip that I wouldn't have turned in because my AT was shitty, but my reaction time was a 00 or 09 or 08. And he said, do you want to turn this one in? Because, and it's the whole package situation. It's weird. It's different for Americans to realize that, but it adds, that reaction time adds a lot. I mean, I have an app now on my phone that I'm doing the reaction tree. You know, I'm practicing. And my girlfriend's daughter, who was in a couple of passes with me on this trip, she's my co-driver. She's getting a double, triple zeros on her on the app, and it makes you think about. And so I know I don't want to drag this on, but because it is so unique, each car I've run 3 different cars at this event in 4 years, and each car is different. And these guys are able to get 000 zeros or 001s and 2s because they know their car. They know what light, what light they're hitting it on, whether they're waiting for the third bulb or they're hitting it on the third bulb.
And I think if folks are watching this on YouTube or whatever, because we have a lot of listeners on the podcast, but if you flip over to YouTube or Facebook and find this spot, I mean, like 007, 004, I mean, you don't see these kind of reactions.
And they have to. The other thing too is they have to run within their number too, like
within their number, and
dials,
and then
right?
they're added together, and the average for the week is your package. So you're really racing your package. The first 2 years, I didn't know that. I wasn't doing it right, and then I do it. So what I love about it is it gives the cars that aren't 3 second, 4 second, 5 second, 8 mile cars. It gives you a challenge because it makes you want to be better, and you are again. I think that's what BC DragIt is for me. Is I don't race. I don't feel like I'm racing anybody but me. And when I get that, when I can't cut that tree down, I'm pissed. And it took me a while and I still can't do it myself. And you watch the video I just put on Facebook on the BC DragIt page. It's like it's just funny watching everybody trying to figure out their slip and figure out which one it is. But you said, like you said, those numbers. And all of a sudden, what if you did that on a big event? I don't know what that would do to people. They would freak out because they want to.
I think it actually might be good because, like, even if you did that on an 850 class where you incorporated a reaction time, it would change it up a lot because there's these guys that, they can run 850, but can they actually cut a light?
Yes.
Where it would be, maybe the guy that runs 860s could win the event because he's a 00 guy, where this was a bracket tree, which is, nice for spooling. But
sure.
When it comes to, like, you're running, say, Pro Tree on some of these ones, I think that would really put a whole different spin on it for these guys who are running 850 class or just in bracket in general, because then it's not just how consistent your car is, it's how consistent you are.
I think that's great, Matt.
It's like every pass, right?
Yeah, for the fastest cars, keep it the way it is. But for the 850, maybe less, it just introduces a whole level of skill because it's wonderful to watch. Like I'll be honest with you,
It makes it more like bracket racing, really, right? Because
I ran a 2007 Impala front-wheel drive SS. Like that's what I ran with a 5.3. It's slower than shit. It's probably a 14-second quarter-mile car, and I got top 9 out of 33 in my bracket, and I'm thrilled. It like made the trip worthwhile. I was like, oh great, I'm like top 10. I'm the slowest guy there. I lost to that Cavalier.
That Cavalier was cool though. Like I looked at it and they just said, well, I was asked about it because I'm like, that thing sounds odd. Like that doesn't sound like it's stock. And they're like, oh no, it's got a small block. They just did it because they said they could do it. And I'm like, no shit. And this older lady had bought it and it's her daily driver. And I'm just like,
it's a rear wheel drive Cavalier.
Sweet.
With the small block. And I'm like, man, that is so cool. And she was just so happy. And like I wave at her every day. And just, that's the thing is there's so many people that you can tell they just really love the event and really like being there. And it's great to see it because you see how much pride and joy they're taking in it, in their vehicle, but also they can be competitive no matter what they're driving. Because get some of those, they chop the tree down and you're like, holy, like they're going up, but it's also, they're not quite like Rovic where they get 26 passes to do it. So you have your package and, depending on how the day goes, you get 3 runs. Sometimes they were getting more, but they'll leave the lanes open. They were running classes just to help with the prep. And then they were kind of letting people run after that, which was good.
That was a new thing this year.
Yeah, Triple O. Yeah. In Prince George, there were some guys cutting lights and I was like, I wanted really to cut a light some of those days. I'm like, oh, I can cut a light. Like I love bracketries because that last yellow, how mine reacts as soon as that comes on, you're good. It's, I can do an 00 sometimes or whatever light on those trees, but I didn't want a red light because you can't turn it in. So in a heads up class, it wasn't, the challenge there, but in a heads up class like that, I don't think you really your reaction time. You're more looking for ET in those classes, and like as we talked. But on these bracket or the dial classes, I think like the pro DYO type stuff, I think that's something that would put a whole spin on it. I think it's a good thing, really, because if I was running even my Green Cuda, I'd go and run that event and do that and get my package together. And then if I knew what it was, because I could have a car that's ultra consistent. That's the thing we see is these people have a car that'll say run 8000 every time, but if they can't cut a light, they're not any better than the guy that's a 10th off where he struggles with his car bit, but he can cut a light.
But he can chop line down.
You get these guys that are so consistent, but they're not consistent in the reaction times, and I think that's great because it helps. It's an equalizer, really, at the end of the day. Because I see some of these guys, they go run a stock car and they think, oh, hey, I've got this one. Well, no, you don't, because when you have to react every time, you're a 10th off. That guy that's a half a 10th off, and vice versa, you're still in the game.
Or you know what? Let's see guys do 5 hot laps and keep it within half a thou. And now we're talking.
Well, some of those were keeping them pretty good, actually. They were going up. I know towards the end there was a few guys trying to hit their number, and I was like, did that car just go up again? There were some hot lapping. He would have been proud. He would have been like,
oh, there's a lot of Matt. You're being polite again, because and I'll call Rob Campbell out as one of them, but there's a couple of guys that they will run and they'll sneak in, and even he got someone even out snuck him in and ran a couple of runs. Most people.
I kind of looked. I'm like, wasn't that car just up, or like?
Yeah.
I'm like, did I just look because I hadn't went up yet? And I'm like, wow, he was doing the Rovic. I'm like, man, good.
You got to build a good car.
Guys, you need to come to this event because it's all about hot lapping.
I've been wanting to. I just missed it this year because I had to work. So.
I've been inviting
mentioning it to him that I was going. So you get someone like this where you get a real legend to the bracket racing. I think he'll just be vibrating the whole event.
And he doesn't have to drive 5,000 miles to get there.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a lot closer to the Yukon in general, actually. Yeah, it's with the way they're doing it. At first I was just scratch your head, but I think it's good it just levels the playing field for the normal person, not just the guy that has the ultra consistent car.
Well, let's run through these real quick, and then we'll end the show. We want to kind of be done. We got about 12 minutes. I want to run through the award, or like who won stuff. Obviously, the quickest car on the property, Matt Blasco. We know we've talked about that. First 5 second average, quickest pass in history, and quickest average in BC DragIt history. So big shout out to you there. 5.994 average, and the best ET of a 5.30. Dude, tell us the 5.30 pass.
So the 530 pass, actually, I turned a little bit up off the line, but I was still struggling with the suspension because I had it. So in a slick car, usually you think of 4-link, I actually had it uphill where my car likes it downhill on the bottom bar. And I was listening to one guy. Well, I was struggling with my 60 foot on that, but I put a little more in down track. Now I was skating black tracking that track through. So it's just, it was still an NHRA track, but I was fighting the car a lot. It was a really good pass, and the nice thing is it's a quarter-mile track, so you have lots of shutdown. So, it came out of the hole really good. I put a lot of power in the mid, and then just hopefully it wasn't backtracking. It was skating a bit up top, but I'm kind of used to that. I used to run drag radials and Caltracs before they were cool, like in the early 2000s. So it really, when I get in a big tire car, I usually just leave my foot in it because they'll usually gather themselves up for the most part. So that 531 was pretty good. I know I can improve upon it, but because the 60 wasn't that great. But with that track, I really loved the track there, and the track personnel were really good and on top of it. And you can tell they really appreciate the racers being there. So it wasn't just the run, it was the guys there and, in the burnout box, like just making sure they pull you in good. So in that 531, it was really good. Had some good mile an hour. The guys were pretty blown away that it was in the 140s, I think, or 130s. Maybe it was 140s. I forget what it actually did on that for mile an hour, but it was, I know I could throw more at it. I didn't want to, risk it just because I wanted to make sure I finished that event with it the first time. But it was a good run. I was still happy with it. Like I said, you don't want to take too many risks, especially, sometimes people go up and they end up breaking when you could have just took it.
Don't want to do. You've done enough of those.
I've done enough of those. So it was a good pass. It'll get better, and I know a lot of the guys there too will, like they're all upping their game, which is good. And the good thing is this is making people pull up their socks a bit more. But it was good to see there and see the challenge that it is, because everybody thinks, oh, I'm just going to go there and blow everybody away. They think, oh, my car runs 4s. This 4-second small tire car wouldn't do a 650 at this event, unless they're really. There's only a few guys that I know with small tires that I could know that they could get down this track and do pretty well on, because they're extremely seasoned street racers. That I'm thinking like Tony and Tess. They could probably they'd be really good on this event and enjoy it. I know Tony could really get the car working on this, but I know he'd enjoy it just because it would take such skill in it. So, but there is good hook on those tracks. So the average was, I think the harder was the 5-second average than even just getting that lower pass in it in general. So,
right. And then second place in that class, Jason Gibson in the Mustang, which you were telling stories earlier, 638 average for him. Best pass for him, 585. So pretty awesome to have, somebody else kind of running in that same
well, he
range.
was ahead of me on that first day. So I was sweating a little bit because I'm like, oh, geez, I'm just going to, this is going to be easy, but no. And then, like I said, we end up talking a lot and got to be friends. And then just, the good thing is you see each other on the road, thumbs up, make sure that everybody's going. And it didn't matter that we were 1 and 2 or he was 1 and 2, vice versa, swapping spaces. I know that second day it was a little bit, he's like, when I ran that really good run, because he's running his car pretty hard. But now, like I said, we're going to get some turbos on there so he doesn't have to be a slave to refilling the bottles all the time. So I think it'll, he'll speed up. But then there's other guys, that are in BC that talk about coming. Well, I'm going to go take the BC DragIt trophy that says fastest street car in BC. Go take it to the Welcome to Alberta sign and take a picture with it, just to maybe get some of those guys a little more inspiration to get their trophy back. Because there's a little thing between the two provinces. There's a lot of fast street cars out there, and I hope a lot of them start to come out there. It's just we're getting inspiration of more people to come that maybe haven't heard about the event.
Yeah. And then the 640 class was won by Rob Getz and had a package of 0.636 over runner-up Mike Lippman with a package of 0.641.
And
it gets
now
pretty
what
close.
we know, that's pretty salty.
Like, reaction and close. Like it's hard. It's not easy because it's one thing to run that. It's when you're running 2 numbers. I watch some of these guys. I'm like, wow, like they're hitting those trees, like knocking them down.
Right. And then 740, same thing here. So you got Ian Patterson 046 on the package there. And then this is crazy. Sean Doyle, 5.634 package, but the only other car to finish the class.
Yeah, that class I watched, there's a few cars and there was having some trouble.
Yeah, it was, I think 3 or 4 of those cars fell out. Man, that's tough.
Yeah, it was was hard on him. There's some guys, like there wasn't a lot that fell out, but some of them it was, they broke. Or there was another fellow that was in the top class in a really cool looking European car with a twin turbo LS. What was that fellow's name, Paul? If you remember, he had that.
I don't.
You remember that car though? That turbo little roller skate looking.
Oh yes.
Yeah. That car was pretty cool.
Somebody will type in the chat.
Yeah, chime in on what his name is. But he had some, we were helping him along. But when that car gets figured out, that car is going to be a force to be reckoned with too. Like that car was cool. I was like, ooh, wow, when that car gets figured out.
He's a Prince George legend, that guy. Somebody's going to type his name in, I'm sure, before I get to it.
Like there's lots of potential of guys there. It's just, sometimes they're not. Like we don't have the most tracks in Canada. Like that's why Rich drives so far to get to these, because we have events, but the Dragon drives and just good tracks, quality tracks. Fortunately, we have to go stateside or we have to go quite out west. So,
Soon to come, though.
Rovic's saying that they might do some races up here a bit more too. So
out in Quebec,
out east actually. So
nice.
Which is quite a ways. It's almost quicker to go to. Some of these events like me to go to Redwood Rally than some of these, but Rovic was saying there's going to be some more Eastern Canada.
We're setting up a couple of different events out east, Quebec, maybe Ontario, maybe with the NHRA, some of their events, tagging along with them, but it'll be like a 3-day event kind of thing.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
To start off with. There'll be more details. We're still working it out. We just started talking about it. Well, I've been talking about it for a year, but last week. So we're working on it, and there might be something next fall to come.
Yeah, Mike Camp, that's guy.
Yeah.
There you go, Mike Camp.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. Please keep us in the loop.
Stay tuned. All the guys in New York and Buffalo and Maine and all that stuff, and all the guys from out west in Canada, and we got some pretty big plans for it after the first year. We'll have to talk, Mike. I think we're going to make it real interesting in the Dragon Drive world for international stuff for Canada, US, and whoever else. So,
dude, I'm telling you, I say it all the time. We're just getting started with this, but hey, we got to run through these real quick, or we're not gonna make the 2.5 hour cutoff here.
All right, next class was the bracket class. Brandon Piskacek with a 0.066 package. Runner up was Rob Campbell with a 0.112 package. So again,
and they trophy multiple places in these too. So it's not like you have to win first. Like they trophy a bit out in these bigger classes, which is great. That's I like to see, right? Because it is an accomplishment in itself, to even place in the top 3, 4, in these classes. It was nice to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hot rod class, I think, is along the same as the bracket South stuff here. So we got Greg Dawson winning that with a 0.130 package, and then runner-up Jason Titley with a 0.163 package. And knowing what we know now, damn, dude, that's salty after 5 days of racing.
Yeah.
And that's a 57 Pontiac.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one that showed us, if you saw the footage of the abandoned racetrack, it's that car.
And then there was another guy who was from SD Performance with that GTO was there, actually. I sent Rich a picture. He's like, I know that guy.
Is that the red one?
No, that baby, like the
blue,
the really light blue, like the robin's egg blue.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful.
Beautiful car.
Then we've got Stick Quick. Or first we got Stick, which is Graham McNeil at a 0.289 package with runner-up Dan Piskacek at a 0.395 package, and third place Paul T-Grobe with a 0.405 package. So some pretty tight stuff there out of the stick shift.
Yeah, and then I think they had the quick class too. Was it more? I think that was a heads up, was it? Or
yeah, and so it was set up as a kind of like the quick class, like yours. So I like how they named it, and knowing it now, it makes sense. So you got the quick streetcar class or whatever, and then you got stick or quick stick. So Shane McNary won that one with a 744 average. Runner up in that class, Ryan Kelsnikoff at 783, and then Adam Lieb in the last place, 786. So runner up in third, pretty pretty tight there for the quick stick class.
And the stick cars on some of those surfaces, like I said,
Oh man,
it was quite the watching them go down. I was like, I'm glad I'm not that guy having to really, you're figuring out a clutch on top of your power management.
Oh, for sure.
But I
And
think
it would,
some of these experienced stick guys would enjoy it.
I was going to say it'd be fun, like seeing a guy like Rich or Bill Armstrong or Chad Fegley.
Well, I
A
think
lot
you
of
get
those,
Richard Bill there, they would have the time of their lives just because it's not, it's not just like going the clutch and grabbing the gears. It's making the thing go down while grabbing gears.
yeah, that's awesome.
And then the last class here, the truck class, Tyler Gold at a 7.106 average, and runner-up Taylor Dean at a 7.319 average.
Yeah, which for trucks was decent, really decent there. Like it was really good.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys explaining that because, man, when I first opened that, and I think as this event becomes more popular and people look at that, I think you're 100% right. I think people will enjoy that, especially given the new challenge of reaction time, because we've never worried about reaction time in Dragon Drive ever. I mean, like we made a rule that
I think it might catch on.
Don't. Yeah, I'll say if you don't leave within a second, you're getting at it. Like that's the problem we've had, right? So, because back in the day, I mean, dude, it was 6 or 7 seconds. Those guys would sit on the button with the light green and then go because we only have worried about ETs so far. So I think this is pretty fun for Eric and I's side of what we do for historical data. It's going to be kind of interesting. I don't really know, all the stuff we've done historically hasn't concerned reaction time. So I've never really collected that in my master folder, but this event's kind of making me think I probably need to go back and gather that stuff. The problem's going to be it doesn't, for every other event, it doesn't matter yet. Now, I think you're right, Matt. I think some of the events will pick up some stuff. I think this will give some people an opportunity to maybe think of a way, because the biggest struggle we have, like even with the circuit, 200 cars, we still have 70 people in the U versus U, the dial your own, the street machine eliminator, whatever class. And man, how do you break that up? Like, how do you not just, because you can award the top 10 and still not give a reasonable amount to.
And I think really, though, you get these guys that know their cars, but they're not, reaction time. I think it makes it more just like a bracket race in a way.
Yeah.
Is because when it's almost like your heads up to plus your dial, like your heads up against the guy beside you because you got to still tree him regardless. So I think with it, it's the being able to cut the light and like you're treeing and you're making your car run. So I think it just adding that to it. I think for like more and I know a lot of kind of hardcore bracket guys that were talking about getting into Dragon Drive. I think this might get the thing where like, oh, hey, now like I got to cut my light and that.
Yeah.
Whereas people say,
also it makes it more exciting to watch, and it makes you have more upsets. So you have those bigger classes, like all the events have these large dial your own and brackets. This gives a new element where you can have a real upset. You can have the fastest car and get beat by a 6-cylinder,
Well, and I mean, that's what those classes are built for, right? Is to bridge that gap and give it a really open opportunity for anyone.
And it helps, I think, with budget cars too, because there's some guys that have some pretty killer bracket cars that can run so consistent, like right on the number within hundredths, but they can't cut a light. Where these other guys, they don't quite have the money to, they can probably run within a tenth, but they can cut a light. Like then that gives them that same opportunity.
Well, and to your point,
like you said,
your stock Challenger, these newer cars, if you're running a new car that's all just, it's going to be consistent every time.
Yeah.
But the light's going to be the difference.
And we're always looking for, I have talked about this for a long time, but I feel like the bracket racing group of racers is so big that we just haven't seen the influx from them yet because we haven't given them an opportunity. It's just not for them yet, right? But I think something like this could work. We may, I don't know. I'm going to talk to Mark and see, how we can utilize this, maybe at the circuit or something like that. Maybe make it a small class,
Some of these in the big events, like I think even maybe in Sick Week, something like this might be good in some of those heads up classes a little bit. I have to talk to Tom or Luke about it a bit and see if something like that might be just, they are somewhat filler in some of these bigger events that are more about the really fast cars, but also to just make those a little more competitive too in general.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to do participation trophies. That's not what this is about. But like, I think if you have a
Well,
way
that's skill.
to give some fun and not have a 130 car class that
Well, it
after
speeds it along too, because if you add, half a second every pass, say as long as they're under a second, and let's just say half of them don't run half second, and you have 100 cars, that's a lot of you're still saving seconds every time. So it's a way to get it through quicker too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree completely. This is very interesting. I appreciate you guys coming on and kind of going through this. That's got my mind turning for sure.
They run cars through pretty quick, like I said on this BC DragIt, because
they do.
Quick reaction time,
Oh, I mean, damn, do you see all the reaction times? Like stuff. Like
that's
O20s,
There's no
you're 100,
participation.
you're going up again, like you're not doing good because that's a hard.
It's not a
thing to have.
participation award to try to get double zeros every time, and it's not.
Yeah, I
easy.
mean, I just think it would be a lot of fun as as we look for new and interesting ways. I mean, I think
sometimes, I know when I go to the Dragon Drives down south and I look how many cars are ahead, and I'm like, okay, should I start getting my fire suit, get my Hans on? And this one, I was like, figure out, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh crap, I better get going because they're moving.
Yeah,
it's nice.
That's exactly right. Okay, so Matt, you're headed to Big Sky with all the cool kids.
Rich is gonna be here. His dad's coming on Friday.
Awesome.
They usually meet at my place here anyways, and because he lives west of me and Rich lives north of me, so they always meet here in the middle. Rovik's here, and then Rovik's friend Matt is coming from the Yukon from Whitehorse, driving all the way down and bringing his wife and kids. They're going to compete in a Camaro. There's other guys like Trevor Brandon's coming down. Chris Wozniak's making the big drive out here.
Yeah, he was on the road today. Yeah.
Yeah, we're only about 5 hours from the start track here. Actually, I'm only about half an hour from Montana that way. Actually, so
awesome.
It's not that far, but it's one of the closer Dragon Drive. It's actually closer than BC DragIt to me going to Big Sky.
Wow.
So, and depending, the drive, it's about the same distance to the start of Miles of Mayhem. So it's great. And Austin does a really good job, and Summit I know helps him out too with it, and it makes it great because they usually send some stuff along too. And
I'm going to have some serious FOMO incoming. Paul, what's next for you, man?
I appreciate. I'll be writing something for you guys, and maybe writing something for Sick. I don't know, and then not drag and drive related, but I'll be going to Duct Tape Drags in October. Cool. I don't know what else in between that, and then I go to SEMA, so I'll just be doing some car related stuff. And
let's get together on Duct Tape Drags. I think that's another great opportunity. There's a lot of drag and drive guys.
Wide array of cars.
So we can figure that out for sure too.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. A lot of guys like that. It's a good event. We'll see. I've never been. I'm my first time.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Big Sky is it's kind of like the BC DragIt. You get the different array of cars and different people. So like it's Montana. Sometimes their entry level guys are pretty unique, say the least, because it's Montana and it's rural.
I'm excited, and dude, I wouldn't turn down any content if you wanted to send it to us. Okay.
Yeah, I'll try and do some content and such. It'll be a good time, I think.
Awesome. All right, guys. Again, thanks to Paul Fournier for reaching out, being like, "Hey, man, I'm going to this thing. You guys, let's hook up." And we did it. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on tonight. And Matt, dude, good luck, buddy. I'm excited. And
we'll see if I can do good on this. There's some fast cars coming down, so we'll see.
Yeah. Good.
It's good competition.
Mike and Eric, I want to thank you guys both, and I know Mark. And I mean, this BC DragIt appreciates your interest. I was one of 3 Americans at this event. So having you guys be interested is kind of important. And Matt kind of promoting this with his friends. I think it's a great thing. So thank you both. All 3 of you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're gonna kick you guys off, and then we're gonna close this thing down.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys again.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks. See you.
Dude, how cool is that? Adding another event we need to go to. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm heartbroken. I'm not going to Big Sky. Hearing the list of racers that are going, man, that's going to be tough to watch from afar. But man, hey, gonna have to do less events next year, early in the year, and make that make sense. Because boy, I'm telling you, I've been on the road a little bit this year so far, and we got a bunch of big year left. So, all right, sir, let's do this thing.
All right. Once again, appreciate everybody in here making comments all night. It's been great. That's why you guys are our race car friends. So we appreciate you guys and all of our sponsors. Again, we couldn't do this if it wasn't for this list of companies. So thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, PowerTube TV, and Racing Junk. And we will see you guys on Saturday morning for the next episode of the news.
Yep. Later.